Warning: Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go on and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click that link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, I was undecided on whether I was going to do it this way or not. That's why I didn't label it a BMP. But in light of recent events, as well as all the things I was going to talk about here today, I think it's only apropos that we do it this way. Oh, yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. The Most High don't like ugly and ain't too fond of pretty. Now, I'm not just here to get petty when it comes down to this situation with the illegals. Definitely, we're going to get petty there too. But family, in case you haven't heard, Charlie Kirk has caught some ABK his way. Yeah. Beavis himself from Beavis and Butthead has literally caught some ABK. And it happened earlier today. And so, family, before we do anything, we're going to go ahead and let that news break. Let's go here first.
This is CNN Breaking News. We have breaking news to CNN. A source tells CNN that Trump ally and the founder of Turning Points USA, Charlie Kirk, was shot at an event on a college campus in Utah.
And the extent of Kirk's injuries at this point are not immediately clear. Let's talk now with CNN's Kristen Holmes. We have CNN political director David Chalian with us as well. Kristen, what can you tell us?
Brianna and Boris, I want to be very clear. I cannot tell you that much right now because this is a very fluid situation. People are still trying to figure out the details, the extent of the injury, and what exactly unfolded on that Utah campus. As we have reported, Charlie Kirk is a close ally of President Trump's. Not only that, he is somebody who helped him get elected this cycle. He is often seen here at the White House. He runs Turning Point USA, which is a youth organization where he's tried to galvanize thousands of voters, Republican voters. He's also a controversial figure at times. He goes into these various college campuses, pushes conservative issues, gets into heated back and forth often with these students on these college campuses. But of course, none of that is violent. This is the first time we've seen this kind of reaction, obviously. So what we know right now, everyone is monitoring the situation. He was shot during this event on this Utah campus, and they are still unclear what exactly the extent of those injuries is. There are a lot of videos circulating right now on social media that are showing the crowds running away after gunshots went off. But again, we are still going through all of this and talking to sources to figure out what exactly happened and how Kirk is doing at this time.
Kristen, please stand by.
Now, from the video I saw, family, you know, it was a very specific point in time that this dude got, you know, ABK'd. And, you know, somebody in the crowd asked him about, you know, mass shootings, mass pumings, and he said before, after gun violence. Soon as he said gun violence, you heard it go off. The ABK that everybody on the campus heard and started running from. So, I find it to be very, very interesting that it happened at that exact point in time. I just had to say that because they said the details were vague. That detail is not vague. There's a whole clip going around circling the situation. To be honest with you, I thought it was AI. I had to look a little bit closer. But let's let them continue.
David, as we work to confirm some of these videos that are circulating online and we try to get an awareness of the status of Kirk's health, it's important to step back and point out the impact that he's had in recent years on politics, and certainly conservative politics. He's turned this sort of grassroots organization, Turning Points USA, into a juggernaut when it comes to connecting youth conservatives and the conservative agenda on college campuses.
Without a doubt. I mean, first, let me say my prayers are with Charlie Kirk right now, and I'm sure everybody watching feels the same.
Hold up. Speak for yourself, little Oompa Loompa. Don't just go around talking about everybody feels the same way. Don't put words in all of our mouths. You speak for yourself and leave it there. Let me be very clear about that. All right? We ain't about to sit here and play that game.
Horrific to see what we're seeing here. You couldn't be more spot on, Boris. I can't sort of understate what Charlie Kirk has done inside the Republican Party as a force, especially around mobilizing younger voters. That's sort of
family. Even he had to laugh when he tried to say that right now. I can't understate what Charlie Kirk has done in this conservative movement. Watch him.
Terrific to see what we're seeing here. You couldn't be more spot on, Boris. I can't sort of understate what Charlie Kirk has done inside the Republican Party as a
family. He couldn't even keep it straight. He couldn't keep it straight.
This is horrific to see what we're seeing here. You couldn't be more spot on, Boris. I can't sort of understate what Charlie Kirk has done inside the Republican Party as a force, especially around mobilizing younger voters. That's sort of how TPUSA first got its movement. But he is a talk radio host on conservative radio. He's the organizer of this group, does a ton of speaking publicly around the country. You can't go to any kind of sort of big convening of Republicans, and he is not a force there with an enormous following. In fact, I was looking on social media, on Twitter, at 2:24, so not even 30 minutes ago, 29 minutes ago, he had posted images of himself before this huge crowd at Utah Valley University there outside of Provo. And he said, we're so back. You could see there was enthusiasm. He was passing hats around. You can watch him on video. This was posted half an hour ago of him doing that and greeting this crowd. He is somebody that the Trump campaign, as Kristen was noting, utilized very effectively to harness his leadership in this conservative activist movement, again, with young people, young men specifically. We've talked about this a lot when we look back. Charlie Kirk is the heart of that effort. They relied on him and his organization a lot for their ground game in a lot of the states around the country. And so this is somebody who obviously has a huge voice inside conservative American politics, a big Trump supporter, but obviously now in this really unfortunate, horrific experience is going to be at the center of a conversation about political violence, I would imagine, that we're going to be having in the aftermath of this horrific event.
Oh, certainly. And there's a lot of reason to be concerned right now as we do not know his status. We don't know how he's doing, and we're waiting word certainly of that. As you mentioned, it says a lot about where we are as a nation when it comes to violence in politics. Can you talk a little bit about what he was doing in Utah? He was going to universities to speak to young people.
Yeah, and organizing them. And again, that's why I was literally, you can just bring it up from his Twitter page a little while ago. You can see it's not just like, sometimes you might go to an event at a college campus and it's a smattering of people. That is not what Charlie Kirk brings. He has a following and an energy around him with young people. And so, yes, he is on college campuses quite often all around the country.
Boy, this little Oompa Loompa is laying it on thick, don't you think? That is not what Charlie Kirk brings. No, he brings the races. He brings out other Nabiscos who think like him with the white supremacist thought process. That's what he brings. I mean, you can't say he bring anything else. What can you name that he brings to the party outside the younger white supremacists? Yeah, that's the following that they're looking for.
doing this kind of political organizing, in addition to his sort of speaking at places like CPAC or other big events. He is big on college campuses. And as I was saying, the Trump campaign has harnessed him into his network of followers in terms of their ground game operation in this last campaign. It was fundamental to their success.
And to that point, he spoke at the RNC in 2024, and we just saw a tweet put out by J.D. Vance, the vice president, saying, quote, "Say a prayer for Charlie Kirk, a genuinely good guy and a young father." I believe
yeah, right.
that we're joined now by CNN senior law enforcement analyst Charles Ramsey. And actually, before we get to Chief Ramsey, here's a post from FBI Director Kash Patel. "We're closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected. Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and investigation." Chief Ramsey, I wonder if you can paint for us a picture of what an investigation like this, one, as you just saw there from the FBI director, to which agents are just responding on a college campus at an event where it appears that Kirk was surrounded by a multitude of attendants.
Well, obviously, there's a lot we don't know yet. This just occurred, but they would do everything they can to contain the scene. The shooter may very well be someone who is being held by other members in the crowd. We don't know that. Hopefully, his injuries are not too severe. So I'm certain.
Oh, family, just so you know, the shooter is in custody. They have caught the Nabisco that let off on the other Nabisco. It's Nabisco on Nabisco crime. But when Trump talks about it, when they talk about it at the White House level, I guarantee you they won't be talking about it the way they're talking about the situation in D.C. I guarantee you they won't be talking about it the way they're talking about the situation in Chicago or Boston or any other place that is predominantly Black populated. They're going to make this a whole nother one-off situation. This is another mass shooting, another mass, well, it wasn't a mass shooting, but it is still another Nabisco crime. Let's be very clear about that. It was an open shooting. I wonder if Trump is going to talk about sending the troops over to Utah. I doubt it. Salute the FBI Freeman. He said, "What you say? Captain Kirk, beam me up, Scotty, to the stars." Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, let's continue.
Hoping that that's the case. But right now, it's a case where they're going to bring in resources to do what they can. It was a large gathering on a college campus. So no doubt you have a lot of witnesses that need to be interviewed, but you have a crime scene now. And that crime scene has to be protected. That crime scene has to be processed. So all the things that you would typically do in any shooting incident, you would be doing right now. He's a very high profile individual, so it's certainly going to draw a lot of attention.
And Chief, can you talk a little bit about what security would be like at an event like this on a college campus? I mean, he's not a politician, right? But he's someone who is so adjacent to some of the biggest names here in Washington. And we have seen this uptick in political violence. What would security be like, would you expect?
You see how they just tried to frame that, family? He's not a politician, but yet this is political violence. Nobody knows why the shooter had his own what his motives were or anything like that, or at least they haven't released the motives of the shooter, but yet they're trying to make it very clear that it's political violence after the woman says out of her own mouth, he's not a politician. He's a race baiter. That's what he is. In case nobody else knows it, we know it here. In the new black media, the man is a race baiter, not a politician. So how could it be political violence? No, it's violence nonetheless. Yes, not political violence, or at least you can't just jump to that conclusion until the motive actually comes out.
Well, he's not an elected official, and unless there were direct threats made to him, security would be there. But on a college campus with a large crowd, very difficult, and people would not be screened before they went to the event. So I'm sure there was not only university police, but probably from their county sheriff or local police that were present on the scene. But when you have a large gathering like that, and again, he's a controversial and high-profile individual, but he would not get the same kind of screening that a president would get, a vice president would get, or some other elected official. So again, I haven't seen the scene.
And why should he? Like I said, he has nothing to do with the people on the Hill. He is not a politician. He does not work in federal government. There should be no reason why they provide any type of security to a race baiter whatsoever. If he felt like he needed security, he should pay for it out of his own pockets. In the very same way that Kamala Harris has to pay for hers out of her own pockets. And she's an elected official. Or was an elected official.
So it's very difficult to kind of assess. But I would imagine, and obviously someone was able to get close enough with a gun, and whether it was a rifle, was it a handgun, what's the distance? I mean, there are just a lot of unanswered questions right now.
It's also notable that he hosts, as part of many of the events that he has, these debates with folks that come, college students and others who come as part of a crowd, and he hosts debates with them at close proximity. We don't know that that's exactly what happened here, but it is notable given what you were just describing, Chief Ramsey, as the setting for these events. We also have a statement put out.
Yes, Tater man, it would be considered a school shooting. So they got another one on their belt.
By California Governor Gavin Newsom now, who interviewed Kirk on his podcast back in March of this year. He says the attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence in every form. Let's go back to the White House now and Kristen Holmes, because it's notable.
Once again, it's not political violence. It's violence, yes. But you can't just jump off. And this is, like I said, they're trying to push this narrative. They're trying to push this narrative. It could be political. It might not be political. They might not like the way that this man was sitting there being disrespectful to us. It might have been a racial situation, even though, you know, it was a Nabisco that did it. You can't say until you actually get the motive.
As we just said, he's been interviewed by Democrats and Republicans. The weight that he carries and his voice within the conservative movement, especially among young people, he's someone who at times has had the president's ear as well.
Not just had the president's ear at times. I mean, he is incredibly close with President Trump. They speak directly. He also is close with high-level members of the administration. You see the vice president tweeting there. He knows and speaks to Charlie Kirk. If you are talking to people within the administration, they will tell you that Kirk is somebody who has the finger on the pulse of the MAGA movement in a way that sometimes even the people in Washington do not.
All right, family. They laid that the hell on thick as hell. They laid that on. Let's go here real quick before we get into the topic that we're supposed to be here for, because I refuse to switch my whole damn broadcast just because the beef is getting his ABK. Where are we at here? What we know, what we don't know. This is what we know as of right now. Kirk, 31, was killed. Oh, he died. Well, Kirk, 31, was killed in a shooting while he was speaking at the event at Utah Valley University. U.S. President Donald Trump announced Kirk's death on social media. Kirk was shot once in the neck. Video verified by BBC. No one else was shot during the event. The attacker has not yet been arrested. From what I saw a few minutes ago, they said that they picked up the attacker. Matter of fact, I think it was in this article. To Kurt influencer. Yep, boom. What? Suspect was taken into custody but later released. Police are still looking at, there was a suspect taken into custody. Okay, I thought they took the shooter into custody. Either way, family, this is what's happening today. This is what happened earlier today. And in the words of our good brother Torian Raines, salute to him, I feel absolutely nothing. I feel absolutely nothing. You know, that ABK is swinging through very, very, very quickly. And, you know, I've been speaking about this a lot lately. And I've been saying it. A lot of these people are going to be getting their ABKs. I was just talking about it when it came down to Nick Fuentes going out here and saying things like this. It's only so much you can do, especially when you don't walk around with security. And I won't be wasting a prayer on him. Hell no, not I. Not after the way he disrespected and dogged my community in all of the time that he had the opportunity to be on screen and camera. Nah. In the very same way I felt nothing when Hulk Hogan died. Nothing. Didn't even speak about it on this channel. So, family, with that being said, we're going to move on into the actual subject of today, which is the deportations and affiliations. Let's do it. Before we head there, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to the family in the chat as much as I can. There's a lot been said. A B1 salute shalom to our sister Miss Nisi, Aquarius Minded, Cooking with Miss D, Radical Renaissance, Faith Speaks Life, Tasting Tea with Tony. Shalom to our brother DSB in the building. Andrea Jones. Our brother Jesse Paris. Our sister Stolen Ancestors. Our sister Angelic in the building. Our family U.S. Army brat is in the building along with John's son, Class ZK. Our sister Priscilla Taylor, Hurricane IQ. Making sure we got everybody here, family. Warriors Cherub, much love to you, family. Tater Man, D in the building, much love to you, shalom. Uncensored Truth, FBA Friedman. I am Key Era in the building, Breeze Omega. V for Vengeance is in the building, much love to you, family. And I think we got everybody. If we didn't, our family Jalen in the building, much love to you. And for all those who are not in the chat, much love to you. And for all those who will catch it on the replay, much love to you. I know it takes a little time to get through the shout outs, but I can't go without shouting out the fam bam. That's just not, my appreciations to all of you for being here. So let's get into the topic of today, family, because deportations are underway. We've been seeing them everywhere, whether you know it or not. But let's start off with the most viewed, the one with the most eyes on it at this point in time, because last week, ICE ran a sting operation at the Hyundai factory, and they came out with over almost 500 South Koreans who were here working illegally. So let's get into that, family.
More than 450 people apprehended. This marks what appears to be one of the largest ICE raids at a single site in the 22-year history of this agency. Now, here's what we know. This happened at the Hyundai Meta Plant site. This is in Ella Belle, Georgia. This is just 25 miles or so west of Savannah. And according to the Associated Press, this raid stopped construction of this factory that's being built to produce batteries for electric vehicles. The same site, the same project, this was touted by Georgia's Governor Brian Kemp, who called it the largest economic development site in the state's history. Now, we have video that we're showing in pieces cases here of masked and armed agents there at the site, giving out orders while officers raided the facility. We can also see workers here in hard hats and vests. They were lined up as this was ongoing. On site was ICE, Georgia State Patrol, FBI, DEA, ATF. They were executing, Omar, a search warrant that DHS says is part of an ongoing criminal investigation into this, quote, allegations of unlawful employment practices and other serious federal crimes. They're saying that this sends a clear and unequivocal message, too, that they're taking this very serious. And here is the special agent in charge, what he had to say about this raid.
We are making many arrests of undocumented individuals. We have encountered many lawful employees working here, United States citizens and lawful permanent residents, and they are, of course, being released.
And meanwhile, Omar, on the same day, hundreds of miles away in upstate New York, another large raid at a work site. Dozens of workers at a family-owned plant that makes nutrition bars were also apprehended during an ICE raid. CNN affiliate WSTM reports that about 60 workers were detained. New York's governor condemned this raid, saying it doesn't make their streets safer. And the owner of that nutrition plant told the New York Times that the workers had legal documentation to work in the U.S., calling this ICE raid a, quote, overkill.
Family, if they had legal documentation to work out there in New York, then they would have been released in the very same way that the people who had legal documentation in Georgia at the Hyundai factory was released and the other ones was taken into custody. And family, do you know that goddamn officials in South Korea had the damn nerve to talk about how their citizens shouldn't be held, and this is going to hurt the relationship? Negro, y'all done sent over almost 500 illegals to work in a company, in a factory that was supposed to benefit Americans. And then when they get caught up, you want to wag your finger at the agents who were just doing their damn job? Oh no, let me take you there, family. Let me play this clip.
Well, the headline from here is certainly that South Korea's president, Lee Jae-myung, is getting involved in this matter, telling his officials that, quote, all out necessary measures should be done to support Korean nationals in this matter and to resolve it as fast as possible. Now, the split screen from where he was just about 10 days ago is certainly dramatic, considering that he was at the Oval Office meeting with President Trump, talking about the new investments that South Korea would make into a reality, making American shipbuilding again, improving investments in manufacturing in the United States. This battery factory run by Hyundai as a joint venture with the other South Korean giant, LG, is certainly part of that narrative. And now to see this operation, the biggest of its kind taken in the second Trump administration, it is so striking and has hit such an emotional chord with a multitude of people here in South Korea. Quite astounded that not just one or two or a few dozen South Koreans have been detained as part of this operation, but more than 300, a number confirmed by South Korea's Ministry of Foreign Affairs today. Along those lines, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has said that if the situation isn't resolved, he could conceivably go to Washington, D.C., saying in part, quote, as we discuss this issue further today, we are also considering dispatching a high-level official to the U.S. to address the situation. If necessary, I, meaning the Foreign Minister, am prepared to travel to Washington, D.C., personally to engage directly with U.S. officials to resolve this matter. Unclear at the moment what, if any, charges could be filed, will be filed, and how long will it take to release all 300 plus of these South Korean nationals. Again, hitting such a chord with people halfway around the world.
Family, charges absolutely should be filed. Why? Because these folks, I don't give a damn what anybody say. These folks knew they were bringing in almost 500 of their own. And that's why they're tripping out like this. And shout out to our sister Angelic. She says, you mean to tell me Brian Kim had no idea this was going on the whole time? Exactly. Let me tell you something. These folks knew. Somebody knew something. You ain't about to just have 500 damn illegal freaking South Koreans, whether they nationals or not. You're not going to have them working in the state without them knowing. This is why they have that E-Verify, in order to make sure situations like this does not happen. But one of the things that they do, they always try to say, well, they use some sort of independent hiring firm and they didn't know. No, you knew exactly who it is, because you're not just going to get 500, almost 500 South Koreans, and it's a South Korean company. That is highly coincidental. I don't believe in coincidence when it comes to that type of stuff. You said, yeah, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and build a company out there in America. We're going to build several factories out there in America. We're going to make sure that we take our funds and invest in America. But in the back of their heads, they're like, but we're going to send our people to work the jobs for us. Oh no, we're not going to play the game of paying America is a fair, livable wage. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to make sure that we have our people in there working. So I don't give a damn whether they went through an independent agency or they hired them handpicked. They should be fined. They should be reprimanded, because this right here shows you that they already had it in mind to do so. Let's be very clear about this. Let's go here, family. Got they nerve to be pissed off, want to be mad, when y'all knew y'all was going to try to come over here and just screw the American people out of jobs. But you have the nerve to talk about, oh, we got to be concerned for our nationals. So I get what y'all did. Y'all sent out a kite to all your nationals in America and said, hey, we're about to build this factory and we want you guys to go ahead and come get all the jobs. But we don't have the proper documentation. Don't worry, we're going to set you up with people who's going to get you the proper documentation. Salute to Still Kevin Trees in the building. Much love, my brother, as well as Kim Brown. Thank you for being here. Let's go here.
Story that developed over the weekend. South Korea says it's working to bring home hundreds of its citizens who were detained in an ICE raid on a Georgia auto plant last week. Madison Scarpino is in Elabelle, Georgia. She's got more. Hi, Madison.
Hi, Dana. South Korea has not been happy about this historic raid, so now it's acting quick to get more than 300 of its citizens out of an ICE detention center. The South Korean government says it made a deal with the U.S., and after finalizing some details, it plans to send a chartered plane here, and those hundreds of detainees, many who were searched and shackled, will fly back home to South Korea. President Trump is calling this a very interesting situation. He backs ICE, but says we should look into letting foreign workers stay here to train American workers.
If you don't have people in this country right now that know about batteries, maybe we should help them along and let some people come in and train our people to do, complex things. So we're going to look at that whole situation.
South Korea's foreign minister is...
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I wouldn't allow anybody who was in that dang bunch to come back ever. And now you're going to have to put some more money in an investment if you want to keep this up. Because I'm going to be 100% honest. You can't sit here and tell me that those people were there to train anybody when there was almost 500 of them. That's not training. That's a full-fledged working staff. Like I said, that isn't training. And more you're seeing Trump talking about America first. When those dollars start talking, I get it. You want the money to still come to America, but you need to get on their head. You got to make sure shit like this don't happen ever again. This makes you look weak. Yes, we'll do a business deal with you. Yes, we'll put one of our companies in America. We'll make sure to build a plant in America, several plants in America, but we're going to staff it with our own, whether they're legal or not. This needs to be handled accordingly.
Reportedly planning to travel to Washington today about all this, but President Trump says this hasn't impacted our relationship with a key ally.
We have a great relationship with South Korea. Really good relationship. We just made a trade deal.
This Hyundai mega plant has been touted as one of Georgia's largest economic development projects, and that it's meant to train thousands of Georgians. Thursday's raid happening while workers were building an EV battery factory, and just that factory itself is an over $4 billion investment. So Homeland Security says everyone arrested at the raid either had crossed the border illegally, had expired worker visas, or was not supposed to be working on a visa waiver program. But we spoke to an attorney representing two of the people detained who tells us his clients were working here legally. Dana.
All right, Madison, thank you.
So former ICE Director Jonathan Fahey is here to explain all this. Jonathan, good morning to you. How does a company like this get away with it, or find themselves in this circumstance.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You wouldn't think a large company like this with so much to risk would risk using illegal workers. And I think what's really interesting and important about this, you hear sort of the complaints of, that attorneys saying that people were here legally, but there was a federal judge that issued a search warrant for this. So that judge found that there was probable cause for criminal law violations going on there, mainly with.
Now, family, I want you all to put a pin in that. Just remember, there was a federal judge who issued a warrant for them to go in there and snatch up these people. It's very important to remember that, because there is a clip that I'm going to show you a little bit later, and it's going to basically try and lie and say that this was a situation where there was no warrant. But let's let this continue. And it's on the same news station. So when Neely Fuller said, white supremacy like taking both sides of the fence, all sides of the argument, it's Fox reporting the lie, combating what they just said right here about having a federal judge sign off on this. But let's continue.
The employers. And I think President Trump's response is quite interesting and important in that, we need to make sure people are here legally. And if we need American workers trained, we should do that too. It's a total common sense approach, but it's always an American worker first approach as well as American business approach. But this whole thing is very good as far as deterrence, because companies that are hiring illegal people are, one, putting American workers at a disadvantage. Also, they're putting American businesses that play by the rules at a disadvantage. So this raid was a great deterrent to ensure that people here are working legally. Illegal people.
Let me be very clear. It's not a deterrent unless the owners of the company are held accountable. If you get the people out of here, but the owners are not held accountable, they're going to continue to find ways to basically play under the table without big government seeing what's going on. Until you go after them and start locking them up and start charging them, taking all of their assets and things like that, then you're not going to see a change. You're just going to see a change in the way that they implement what they're doing. Salute to Drew Laston. Thank you for your Cash App donation, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my brother. Much love to you.
Aren't allowed to work, and businesses aren't allowed to profit from using illegal workers.
I find it all intriguing. Dana and I were talking about this last week. Doesn't E-Verify supposed to make sure this doesn't happen?
Yes. That's exactly what E-Verified is there for, to make sure things like this does not happen. But when you're in America, doing business with America and saying, yeah, I'll bring my own people, and nobody knows what's going on until somebody have to call in and tell ICE, hey, there's a bunch of illegals over here, then somebody needs to be looked at in the state as well. That's why I love what my sister Angelic said. You telling me Brian Kemp didn't know nothing? Stacey Abrams didn't know nothing? Warnock? Nobody knew nothing. All right, let's see.
Or do you have a lot of people being paid under the table?
Yeah, I think that's probably what they're looking into. Like, how do these people get in here and get through the system? Are they paid under the table? Are there fraudulent documents being used? I think that's probably one of the things they're looking at, fraudulent employment documents, I-9s and things like that. So I think that's part of the investigation. And clearly they had a lot of information before going in, because you wouldn't go into an operation this extensive. They arrested, 475 people. So this was a massive operation, massive planning into this. So they probably had information that there were lots of violations, or potentially lots of criminal law violations going on there.
Jonathan, one more story I'm going to hit you with. Put the headline up from FoxNews.com. Here it is now. Cartel connection. Hezbollah and Iran exploit Maduro's Venezuela for cocaine cash. Now we're being told that the Venezuelan government will tackle the cartels off its own coast. What do you make of that, given the raid that we saw on a boat at sea a week and a half ago?
It just shows how effective that boat raid was on deterrence, because they weren't talking about this a week ago. And I think they know that President Trump is strong on this issue, strong on the cartels, and also strong on any nation that's supporting them. So this was really effective, and it's going to really embolden a lot of these other nations to stand up to the cartels also, because remember, under the Biden administration, we basically, in effect, turned over our southern border to the cartels. They had more power than a lot of these nations. So the tide has turned, but I think it's President Trump's not only strong action, but just a difference from the weakness and ineptitude of the Biden administration.
Okay, watching both those stories, find them very intriguing. Jonathan, thanks for coming back today. Nice to see you on a Monday. Thank you, Dana.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.
All right, family. So, there was a lot of nonsense going on after that. There was a lot of people acting as if this was the end of the world and everything. Like, and they went after your boy Tommy Holman. You know what I'm saying? They said, hey, Tommy Holm, tell us about what happened when ICE went to Georgia, and Tommy Holm let him know, like, look, we got so many operations going on. I didn't even know that one went down. Tommy Holm wasn't even in the loop. Let's go here, family.
They know who that person's identified himself.
On Hyundai, the Georgia raid.
Pardon?
Sorry?
I missed you.
On Hyundai?
Hyundai.
The raid in Georgia?
Yeah.
The administration is in touch with the Korean government now. What's sort of the update there? And then also, how much is the administration doing to work with South Korea on those permits and for other companies?
I appreciate the question, but I'm not in the loop on that case. I'm not in the loop on that one. No, I'm doing a lot. I'm not clear that case, but I will say this. I said from day one, we're going to increase worksite enforcement operations. It's a crime to enter this country legally, and it's also a crime to knowingly hire illegal aliens. They drive down wages, and they put companies that hire U.S. citizens out of business. And I give you many examples that every day, illegal aliens that are employed by companies undercut the competition that hires illegal aliens. You drive wages down. No one hires an illegal alien out of goodness or heart. They hire them, they work them harder, pay them less. Just like the farmers. There's a way a farmer can bring someone on, but they got to pay decent wages, got to provide housing. There's a right way and wrong way to do this, and President Trump demanding we do things the right way.
Tommy Holmes said, man, I got so many things going on, but I told you from day one what was going to happen. And these companies bring in their own workers, and they know that they're undercutting American wages. And, I told you what was going to go down. I don't even have to be in the loop of this one. As a matter of fact, it wasn't just Tommy Holm. Tommy Holm wasn't in the loop, but the orange man himself. Trump wasn't in the loop either, apparently. He didn't know nothing about it either. Let's go here.
Jennifer, you want to?
Yeah, there's some new reporting on North Korea and this Navy SEAL incident in 2019. Can you say if the administration has engaged with North Korea on that incident since it happened recently? Yeah. And then can you share some recollections?
I don't know anything about it. No.
I
could look, but I know nothing about it.
Can you confirm that it happened?
I don't know anything about it. Okay. I'm hearing it now for the first time.
Okay, great. And then on the Hyundai incident in Georgia with the arrest of some workers, construction workers at the plant, have you heard any feedback from Hyundai?
I just heard about that a little while before the news conference, and I would say that they were illegal aliens, and ICE was just doing its job. But I know nothing about the instance. It happened a little while ago.
There has been some pushback on that, though, from South Korea already. And of course, they pledged to invest $150 billion in the U.S. when they were just here, last week. Are you concerned at all?
They have the right to sell cars and things in our country. It's not like a one-sided deal.
Are you concerned at all about, your immigration agenda potentially clashing with these economic goals?
Well, we want to get along with other countries, and we want to have a great, stable workforce. And we had, as I understand it, a lot of illegal aliens, some not the best of people, but we had a lot of illegal aliens working there. So, look, they're doing their job. That's what they have to do. These are people that came through with Biden. They came through illegally. They came into our country. So we have.
Trump threw that on Biden real quick, didn't he? He said, look, these are the illegals that came in with Biden. They came in with Biden during his years. They couldn't have came in through mine. You know what I'm saying? And the other news broadcast that the clip we just played, they were saying foreign nationals. They wasn't saying illegals. So now we're hearing that it's not nationals because this question was going to be answered. I was going to answer this question here that our brother Uncensored Truth asked. Why aren't they calling this human trafficking? And I was going to say because of the fact that they're saying that they're foreign nationals. If they're foreign nationals, they were already here. However, if they were illegals, now it's a whole nother element. It was trafficking. So Trump said it real quick, tossed Biden right up under the bus. They came in during the Biden years, we didn't even know about them. That was oh geez. All right, family, because I gotta go here because I want you to hear what the analysts are saying about it. Let's go here.
You'd be foolish not to think about this.
South Korea's top diplomat is in the U.S. today at a tense moment for relations between the countries. Foreign Affairs Minister Cho Hyun is visiting Washington as about 300 South Korean nationals are detained in Georgia. That's where ICE and other law enforcement raided a Hyundai plant last week. Korean Air says it could start flying home the detainees tomorrow.
ICE was doing right because they were here illegally.
An attorney for two of the detainees argues that's not the case for everyone ICE arrested.
Under the ESTA business visitor or the B1 business visitor program, you can come in and go to business meetings. You can do engineering oversight. You can do after sales service and installation.
Now notice they're talking about the B1 visas. These people didn't have B1 visas. They were illegals. But these people keep talking about these folks as if they have visas. And you can't say that Trump was trying to protect them or anything like that because he didn't even know about the whole damn raid. Holman didn't know about the raid. This whole raid happened because of I guess you could call a good Samaritan. I say good in quotation marks. Air finger, you know. But, you know, these folks didn't know nothing about what was going on. So these people were trying to get in front of it by saying that these people had visas. And they really didn't.
Which is what these people were doing in the United States.
The raid is causing outrage in South Korea. Its businesses are investing billions in the U.S., much at the behest of President Donald Trump.
Obviously, they're going to have huge hesitation about investing in the U.S. if your employees are going to be treated like common criminals.
The Georgia plant is supposed.
If your employees were brought in by you and they are not American, they came from your country, South Korea, then yeah, they're going to be treated like this. This is how they should be treated. What the hell are you talking about if our workers are going to be treated like this? This is not North Korea. This is America. And I don't give a damn how many billions of dollars you say that you're going to invest in America. If you're going to bring those billions, you better bring them in the proper way. Not just here's $1 billion. I'm going to run my illegal factory in your country and you ain't going to say nothing about it. No, that's not how this works. The audacity of these people. The sheer unmitigated gall of these people. Salute Golden Brown. How did they get in the country? Trump just said they came in under Biden. I believe it was something more sinister than that, to be honest with you. Yeah, corruption at its finest. Oh, yeah, we're going to get to the Becky in a little bit. We're going to get to the Becky. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is what I feel. Somebody had to let them in. I don't believe all those people came under Biden before they even knew they were going to be able to get this job. No, because many of them had fake working credentials. So they had to get that from somewhere. Someone had to set that up. Right, the caucasity. The caudacity. The caudacity, excuse me. Let's continue.
Supposed to open next year as Hyundai's first U.S. facility dedicated to electric vehicles and batteries. Trump acknowledges setting it up requires workers with specialized skills.
We do have to work something out where we bring in experts so that our people can be trained so that they can do it themselves.
For City News.
Family, if that's the case, why, as the president of the United States, you don't negotiate? Okay, we need people who can actually. Oh, okay, they don't have the knowledge of your specialized batteries. Well, how about this? We send a group of Americans over there to train with you guys, and then they'll come back here and they'll be your key trainers for your facilities. Why do we need to bring anybody else over here? No, all you got to do is send people over there, let them train, Let them get their certification within that training. And then those people come back over here and become your lead training specialist for your facilities all over the United States. Those people go and train the people that are being hired. Why wouldn't you just do that? That's why I'm not letting nobody come to me with this nonsense. Oh, they were just here to train Americans. No, the hell they wasn't. They were here to work the goddamn job. And that's why the lady in Korea said it out of her mouth. It's going to, cause some sort of issues if you guys want to treat our workers like this. She didn't say our trainers, the people we sent to train your American citizens. She said our workers. So that's who was going to be working that plantation, that plant. The jobs there. You ain't about to sit here and piss on me and tell me it's raining. It makes no sense. Let's go here, family.
This morning, authorities in South Korea say workers detained during a massive immigration raid on this Hyundai battery plant in Georgia last week will be returned to their home country on a chartered flight. Federal agents arrested nearly 500 people Thursday, most of them South Korean nationals.
ICE was doing right because they were here illegally.
President Trump.
Notice, and that's why I'm playing these other clips. Trump already said they were here illegally. That's why I'm playing these clips, because all these other places, they're trying to say, oh no, most of them were foreign nationals. When the very little that were foreign nationals, the people who were there, were released and allowed to go home, and they told them, don't bring your ass back here today. Everyone else was arrested, which was nearly 500 people. The people who were nationalists weren't arrested. So they're trying to play this word salad with you. They're trying to play these word games with you. Golden Brown said that's because America doesn't want black FBAs to gain knowledge, because knowledge is power, and they want FBAs at the bottom of the economy. And I understand that. I got with you 100-fold there. My point is this: if you are negotiating a situation where you're bringing a business here and there's not enough people in America who are understanding of the process of creating the battery or whatever the situation is, you don't need to send people here. You can still negotiate. People get sent out that way. You don't have to send an FBA, especially as the president of the United States. You can send a freaking Nabisco. You can send an Asian. You can send anybody you want to send, and then let them come back and teach the people here how the jobs are going to go, or how to build those batteries. Now, I get the situation with us, but I'm just saying, regardless of who, if you wanted to do it in the proper way, that's the way you would do it. You wouldn't then turn around and say, you know what, I'll allow you to bring in A, B, C, and D amount of people who knows how to do A, B, C, and D that you need. No, we'll send 5, 6 different people to learn each category that you need, or each segment or each section of your plant that you need. And then they will come back here and train people to work those positions. That's my point. Let's get back over here.
Trump last night called on foreign companies like Hyundai to respect U.S. immigration law, while saying he welcomes foreign workers who come here legally to train American workers.
If you don't have people in this country right now that know about batteries, maybe we should help them along and let some people come in and train our people to do, complex things.
Reporters Tom Homan was asked if more raids like this one at Hyundai are expected soon.
The short answer is yes. we're going to do more worksite enforcement operatives.
The administration also confirming a new immigration crackdown is underway in Boston, targeting, quote, the worst of the worst offenders. Chicago is expected to be next.
Solidarity is our shield.
Protests popping up around the city. The president drawing outrage after sharing this image with a twist on a quote from the movie Apocalypse Now, saying, quote, I love the smell of deportations in the morning, with the added line, quote, Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker writing, quote, the president of the United States is threatening to go to war with an American city. This is not a joke. This is not normal. Trump saying it's all about addressing crime.
We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our city.
A new poll shows Americans oppose Trump's deployment of National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. and other cities, with Democrats and independents making up the majority of the opposition. Trump has also floated sending troops to New Orleans.
Go figure. Go damn figure.
But Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama, St. Louis, and Memphis have the highest murder rates in the country, according to
Family. Is this the Democrats out here throwing a dog whistle to Trump saying, go to these places and leave our illegals alone? But Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama, St. Louis, Missouri, and Memphis, Tennessee, all places with predominantly black folk there, ain't it? Interesting. Salute Marvin C. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, as well as Lamar Cologne. Thank you for being here, family. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like a dog whistle. Go to these cities and deal with the Negroes and leave our illegals alone.
the FBI. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Family, while all that was happening, I got to show you something on the move. Because while the ICE agents were doing their job out there at the Hyundai factory, apparently they didn't do their job well enough. No, family, they didn't do their job well enough, because one of them got away. And she spent 6 hours hiding during the raid. Let's go here, family. Oh, and just so you know, family, this woman ain't Korean. That woman looks like she's south of the Borderian, in the words of Torian Reigns to me. If does she look Korean to you, family? I'm just asking. I'm just asking, does she look Korean to any of you? So if she's not Korean, and this was done during the Hyundai raid, then it is safe to say that it was not only Korean illegals working at that plant. So that whole excuse of, oh, they were only there to train the workers, what is she doing there? I'm just, yes, Cooking with Miss D, we have to ask, but not just for a friend. I got to ask for clarification. If those Asians were here, those South Koreans were here in order to train the incoming American workers, then what the hell is Maria doing there? She reminds me of a West Side Story. Why is the Latino running around for 6 hours hiding from the very same people that snatched up the Koreans? Very interesting, family. They will try and tell you anything. They will try to minimize it so much when it comes to their illegals, their precious, precious illegals. But when it comes to, the people that can actually vote for them, oh, they don't do a damn thing. They keep their mouths quiet. But let's see Maria go from place to place and get her hide on. Hold up. Yeah, family. Now we got a closer pick. Now we got a closer pick. Does that woman look Korean to you? I'm just asking. I need to know. That looks like Maria to me. It looked like somebody's abuela to me. And she's speaking Spanish, family. Oh, we have a winner. We have a winner. Another Latino. We have a winner chicken dinner, family. She gets to speak in Espanol. Andale, andale. Mama, uh-oh. So we know for a fact that she is not Korean. Okay. Let's see what Maria got to say.
No te me he escondido porque hoy me traes el primer de inmigración en Hyundai, en Sabana. Tiene cabello viejísimo. Esperemos a ver qué pasa. Llevo una hora escondida. No se escucha nada. Se escucha el helicóptero. Ya pasaron 2 horas y media. Y ya están aquí. Ya están cerca. Ya llevo 6 horas aquí, encerrada.
Espérame en la entrada de aquí fuera, ¿no? Entonces, aquí en Florestino. Fuera, en toda la esquina, ¿habéis usado? Revisando las casetas, dale.
Hey, Tommy boy. Hey, Tommy boy. I'm going to need you to have ICE circle the wagons. I'm going to need you to have ICE circle the wagons, Tommy boy. You missed one. And she ran around recording herself for 6 hours. They didn't even check all of the damn property. That shows you how thorough this was. They didn't even check all of the property. No, you got to check all of the property. You got to check behind barrels. You got to check in trash cans. You got to look up under whatever you can lift up. Because even though she was a bigger one, I'm pretty sure if she had to, she'd be able to slide behind the thinnest 1-inch space that she can find if she could to save her. Tommy boy, I'm going to need you to go ahead and send some folks after that. I'm disappointed. Highly. Family, let's get into the reason why that situation happened. So apparently, this Georgia woman who's apparently running for office. I don't know her name. She made the phone call. And I find it hilarious because she's standing here with the belt. She's standing here with the belt like she's the champion for doing so. But let's hear what she has to say.
So there were 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah. And I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE. But it goes beyond just someone working illegally. Let me explain to you. These people are working for slave wages. Some are not getting paid. Some are being trafficked. They send money home to their country. They give money to their handler. They have hardly anything left. They live in homes 5 families deep, have no quality of life. It's modern day slavery. So if you think that ICE is just going in and ripping people out of their jobs, these hardworking people that want a better life, well, guess what? Politicians have really screwed these people because when they came here, they thought they were, hey, the border's open. We're coming in. We're going to get the 5-star treatment. And so there were 452 illegals apprehended.
So, family, when this woman made this damn clip here, if you want to see the Democrat crashes out, the crashing out of the Democrats, they try to make it all about all kind of nonsense rather than just saying, well, these are precious illegals. Now you got the Karen, you got the zesty, and you got just the run-of-the-mill Democrat. I got to give you one of each. Which one would you guys like to start with first? Would you like to start with the Karen, the zesty, or just the run-of-the-mill feminist Democrat? What would y'all like to start with? I'll give you guys the ability to tell me here today. Salute to our sister Sharon Thompson. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Who should we start with? Also, salute to T1 Productions. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. All right, let's just start with the Karen, shall we? This is what the Karens had to say about the whole Hyundai situation. One of the Karens.
So the update on the lady that called ICE on the Hyundai plant, the South Korea Hyundai plant, that we begged them for years to come here, that is supposed to bring at least $21 billion to Georgia. The update is it has caused an international crisis. This plant was not even open. I need everyone to understand this plant was not open. It was scheduled to open in 2026. South Korea, which makes batteries, was going to brought over their most top specialized people to get the plant open, hire American workers in Georgia, train them, and to get this factory going. The plant was not open. If you listen to her videos, she talks about union workers could have come here, how they were stealing jobs. The plant was not even open. This is causing an international crisis. Our trade relations have already been devastated. This would have brought about 20,000 blue-collar workers to Georgia. Is this in danger? Yes. Yes, it is. All because of one dumb ass MAGA. Racism is going to cost this country everything.
Now, family, notice how she started off. Of course, she was capping like a mug, but she started off. We're going to chop this down piece by piece. I don't even want to. We're not even going to miss anything. We're going to break down this woman's whole damn argument. Let's go.
So the update on the lady that called ICE on the Hyundai plant, the South Korea Hyundai plant, that we begged them for years to come here.
Now, she said that they begged, or we've been begging Hyundai to come to America, to come to Georgia for years. Family, that was not the case. What ended up happening? Trump got into office and said that he was going to put tariffs on everybody. It's going to be reciprocal tariffs. It wasn't until Trump said, hey, I'm putting tariffs on everybody, that Hyundai came to the table and said, hey, we'll build a company in America in order to what? Make sure they didn't have to deal with the tariffs. So that was the first lie. Just off the bat, we've been begging them for years to come out here. They finally said they'll come.
That is supposed to bring at least $21 billion to Georgia. The update is it has caused an international crisis. This plant was not even open. I need everyone to understand.
Now, she says the plant was not even open, but yet the people were there. Whether the plant is open to the public or not, the people were still there. They were still working, and that would mean they were being trained to do those jobs. Because you didn't see 500 Americans there being trained. You didn't see 500 blue-collar workers being trained. You saw 500 illegals, Korean, and now we know Latino. So what is this woman talking about? See, these people deliberately lie. And I'm pretty sure they're getting some of that good dark money to do so.
This plant was not open. It was scheduled to open in 2026. South Korea, which makes batteries, was going to brought over their most top specialized people to get the plant open.
Again, why in the hell would they bring all those people over here without any work visas, without any permission or anything? Besides, rather than taking American workers on a business trip to South Korea to learn the things that they would need to learn in order to be their specialists in America. Y'all saying this like it's just so, oh, they brought over their brightest and smartest to train 28,000. No, they did not. And if they did bring them over here, that's called trafficking, ma'am. They traffic their citizens over here in order to work as slave labor in their plant. But let's let her continue.
Hire American workers in Georgia, train them, and to get this factory going. The plant was not open. If you listen to her videos, she talks about union workers could have come here, how they were stealing jobs. The plant was not even open.
The plant was not even open, but yet there were still people there. Where were the 28,000 people that were supposed to be getting trained then? Where? You ain't seen that one American there, but you seen all the illegals there. And quote unquote, foreign nationals. If they're not supposed to open till 2026, then that would kind of make you believe that they would be taking all of this time, because guess what? We're in September of 2025. 2026 is just 3 months away. So if they're supposed to open, I think she said October of 2026. Let me see.
This is causing an international crisis. Our trade relations have already been devastated. This would have brought a plant was not open. If you listen to her videos, she talks about union workers could have come here, how they were stealing jobs. The plant was not even open. This is causing an international crisis. Our trade.
And here's another thing. Everything causes an international crisis that Trump does all of a sudden. Every single thing. I don't want to say all of a sudden, but this with the Democrats, every single thing that he does causes an international crisis. This Trump didn't even know about this, but yet it's causing an international crisis. They said the same thing with Canada. They said the same thing about Mexico. They said the same thing about goddamn Ukraine. Exactly, my sister. I am Kiara. Using hysteria. That's all they're doing. Salute Shabazz American Freeman if I didn't say salute before. You see here.
Relations have already been devastated. This would have brought about 20,000 blue collar workers to Georgia. Is this in danger? Yes. Yes, it is. All because of one dumb ass MAGA. Racism is going to cost this country everything.
Family, this woman acts like racism hasn't been costing this country everything. If you cared about racism costing this country everything, pay reparations. Oh, no. If you care about this country and you saying racism's going to cost this country everything, why haven't y'all paid reparations yet if you care so much? It's that simple. But you care more about goddamn people being deported for being here illegally. And you think that they're not getting paid training? They probably not, because they're illegal. Ah, Jesus. All right, so that's the Karen. Let's go to the Zesty. Here's the Zesty.
People that are mad about this raid in Ellaville, Georgia at the Hyundai mega site are probably people that don't pay taxes.
Shut up, loser. When you think MAGA can't be any dumber, they up it. They up the ante every time. LG and Hyundai are Korean companies, correct? You can correct me in the comment section, but I'm pretty sure they're both South Korean companies, right? And so Trump worked out a deal where they bring some of their manufacturing over to the United States. They settled in Georgia.
Manufacturing, not their citizens. He worked out a deal for them to bring their manufacturing, not their citizens.
Georgia, which is good for Georgia's economy. It's also good for the local workers as well, for them to be able to get a job. I want people to understand something. When you bring a company over from another country, it is not uncommon for them to bring workers that actually know. Those workers 9 times out of 10 are not just working the lines. They're training people.
Notice how they're making this a point to talk about training. You ain't seen not one American there training. You ain't seen not one American there. You saw 500 illegals.
They're training people to get the job done. Okay, the way that they want to do it is creating more jobs. And I live in Douglasville, so I'm right next to Carrollton, right? It's not even done yet. I don't think the warehouses and stuff are actually done, but they're coming over here to work on the cars, but also they're building out more buildings here in this little countryside.
Notice how he's trying to make some sort of excuse. He's trying to pull one out of his ass because he knows it doesn't make sense to say, oh, well, they brought people over here to create more jobs. It wasn't open yet, but they're there working on the cars and they're expanding out these businesses. Dude, you're literally walking right over the situation. You're literally walking right over the situation. You just said that they brought all those people over here to do training. They're here to train people. In the same breath, turned around and said, well, they're here. They wasn't open, but they were still, they were here to work on cars and help build out facilities. Is that not working? Is that not a job? Is it not a job that an American citizen could be doing? Exactly, my sister. He's copping pleas for illegals. Exactly. My sister Faith Speaks Life. She said it, yes, and they will fill those buildings with more illegals. Exactly. My sister, I am Kiera. Training is a job. What are these people talking about? This is the reality of the DNC. DNC think tank talking points. They will repeatedly say it as one. Let's let them finish.
So, baby, you stop them from working. You know, South Korea is like, we're going to...
Look, even he said it here. Baby, you stop them from working. I thought you said that they wasn't working. Oh, but they were working because they were working on the cards and working on building out the buildings and, working on training people. But, they wasn't working, but yet you stopped them from working.
Oh, stop. So, baby, you stop them from working. You know, South Korea is like, we're going to bring them home. The people that know how to do this, we're going to bring them home. That's going to also slow down production.
Good. Bring them home. Take them home. And then what you do is you go ahead and you pay people from here to fly over there to train. Then you send those people back because they're already citizens to work in your factories. Why are you saying this as if this is a bad thing? So now any company that decides to build a factory in America should be able to send their own workers with them. That makes absolutely no sense. And they should be able to do it all without getting visas for any of them. Also, they should be able to hire more illegals who are already in the country illegally to be there as well to quote unquote train, work on the cars and expand out these buildings, all of which are jobs. Do you hear how the Democrats are trying to literally talk to us as if we're stupid? And notice, you ain't seeing your Jasmine Crockpots coming out talking like this. You're not seeing your Cory Bookers, talking like this. Because they already know that they're going to get called the hell out. They send out the stooges, who I'm sure, like I said, is taking that dark money to say this dumb stuff that their think tank told them to go out there and say. Salute to our sister Black Spider in the building. Much love to you, my sister. Shalom to you. They're sending out these people. They're not sending out the regular folks that was out here like Jasmine Crockpot talking about we're not working these jobs. They're putting them in places where, God dang it, we don't want the jobs. Are you serious? This is not just a factory, but a car factory at that, which means you're going to have hours and it's supposed to be good damn pay. In Detroit, the black middle class was built off of what? factory work, jobs like this. But they got people such as this zesty fool running around talking about how this is going to affect us in a negative way. Salute number one, Switchblade. Thank you for being here, family.
Yeah, we're going to get them the fuck up out of there before they get hurt. Which is going to fuck up other foreign agreements, which is going to fuck up other things because they see how you guys treat foreigners. Y'all, they're racist.
Treat foreigners? You mean illegals? Because the people who actually had visas got sent home for the day. This wasn't just about foreigners. It was about the illegals working in a factory that wasn't supposed to be hiring illegals. It was supposed to be hiring Americans. This is why I'm telling you, family, the Democrats, they're in a world of hurt. They're in a world of hurt. This is why they're having registration issues. This is why they're having issues reaching the public, because y'all going out saying things and sending people out to say things like this idiot. Exactly. DNC gaslighting. Oh, family. So we didn't went through the Karen. We done got through the zesty. Let's get to the little feminist / DNC 92%er. Exactly, my sister Sharon. These people are stuck on stupid, and they want us to live in that psychosis with them. Oh, where are the 92%ers that was mad at black men? Only when Kamami lost? Right here. I was just about to pull up one of the feminist 92%ers. Let's go here.
Girl, are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of what you did? Because the ripple effects of your little phone call to the freezer bandits is about to screw up Georgia. And y'all, it's Hyundai. If South Korea people can say, y'all, I heard this South Korean lady say Hyundai. So we need to say it properly, out of respect. But if
family, she's reaching so hard, she's trying to tell you how to pronounce the name of the country instead of addressing the fact that the goddamn company was trafficking their citizens over here to work in a plant that was meant for Americans. It's Hyundai. You know, if we can at least say it right, you know, say it with some respect. Girl, if you don't shut your let me just go.
But if y'all, I heard this South Korean lady say Hyundai. So we need to say it properly, out of respect. But if, you know, racism really, y'all, is about to get extremely expensive, because your little phone call is going to cause a real
where was racism in that situation? This ain't had nothing to do with race. It had everything to do with illegals. This woman didn't go over there. She didn't get online saying, you know, I can't stand these South Koreans and that's why I called, because I don't care if they were citizens or not. They might not have any citizens in there. She didn't say that. She made sure to let people know this was about the fact that these folks are hiring illegals instead of the American public. See, these folks were so upset when Trump put tariffs on everybody. They were saying, oh, tariffs is going to destroy the country. Tariffs is going to destroy the country. And then when you had all these different businesses saying, hey, you know what? We'll build a company in your country in order to avoid these tariffs. Then they started talking like, well, that ain't going to help that much because all the other countries that are under tariffs and tariffs is still going to destroy the country. Now they started building in the country, in Georgia. And instead of saying, yeah, America should be getting that job, you're now more concerned about whether or not they're able to bring their citizens illegally into the country that they're bringing their company in to work those jobs. And now America's going to be destroyed by racism. It's always about racism when it isn't about racism with the Democratic Party. When it's actually about racism, ain't nobody saying a damn thing. When foundational Black Americans are being targeted, everybody's mouth is on hush. But now when it comes to these illegals, oh, you're precious, precious illegals. Oh, it's about racism all over again.
Ripple effect in the state of Georgia, like no other. Not to mention the jobs that are lost, but Hyundai is like, fuck y'all, and we out. We out. You know all the stuff that South Korea makes that we use in this MF country?
The same thing that these folks were saying about China and the tariffs. They have resorted back to the tariffs conversations all over again. Do you know how much South Korea makes of what we use in this country? These people are in a loop. These people are in a loop.
What if they say, F y'all, y'all ain't getting no more TVs, y'all ain't getting no more Android cell phones, y'all ain't getting no more nothing for this little stunt where we...
I don't have an Android. And there's other people that make TVs. Sony makes TVs. China makes TVs. America makes TVs. Like, what's wrong with these people? Like, I just really need to know. I want to know what kind of hardcore drugs their parents were doing at the time of, being pregnant. She looks like she's mixed. She looks like her mama might be white. So, if your Nabisco mom is white, she probably was doing meth. That's why she's not making a bit of freaking sense. Salute to our sister I am Kiera. She said, I don't want a TV and never wanted a Honda. I feel you. I feel you. She got a piece of that dark money. Yep, I'm assuming so too. I'm gonna put that one on the list. Why would South Korea lose money over one manufacturing plant but not selling to the United States? Absolutely. So you're just gonna lose money all across the board. Because the truth of the matter is, the deal allows them to sell their cars here. They already been selling their cars here. What happens to Korea, South Korea, if we say we no longer want to sell any of your Hyundais here? What happens to them? While you're sitting there talking about what happens if they say they don't want to send us goods that they create over there, then guess what? They'll just be stockpiled with a bunch of products that they made over there that they can't sell nowhere else in the world. Don't you understand the American market is the market that everyone wants to sell in? I don't even understand what the freaking confusion is. This is how you know these people got to be getting paid. Salute to Miss Nisi. I'm still driving my 2012 Hyundai Sonata. Not sorry. Also, an Android phone user. And well, Miss Nisi, that's good for you then. You know, if you like your Hyundai, that's good, you know. And if you like your Android, that's good. But America ain't gonna crumble if we don't have those things. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. My feeling exactly. She's trying to make it seem like we're going to crumble. This is the same nonsense that they were talking about when China got into the situation with the tariffs. And what ended up happening? China's ports were ended up what? Just compiled, just product over product because they couldn't sell it. Exactly. They already got their money. They'll be okay. That's right. We're just talking about upcoming, phones and things like that. I don't care nothing about that. Let's let her continue.
Sent people with work visas to train American citizens.
The people didn't have, like I said, look, lies, that's all they can do is lie. If they had work visas, there wouldn't have been a problem in the first damn place. Let me say that again for the people in the back. All the real dunce people in the back, the idiots in the back of the classroom, come on to the front. Come on to the front. Let me explain this to you. If you have a work visa and ICE comes into a facility, you're covered under that work visa. Do you understand how that works? When you are illegal and ICE kicks in the door, you get arrested because you do not have a work visa. 475 people was arrested because they did not have a work visa, which makes it illegal.
To work at our
damn all that blinking. Damn all that blinking. You better, man, see, and then she does that, all those blinks to make it seem like she says something profound. You didn't say anything. You just lied.
To train American citizens to work at our plant that we spent billions of dollars on, and even more, paying Americans to work.
We didn't spend billions of dollars. They did. They did. And there wasn't any Americans there when they kicked in the damn door. I got to keep stretching that fact. I got to keep stressing that fact. Excuse me. Exactly. Like she ate. She ain't eat nothing. She needs to go eat something looking like a stick figure. But I digress. What's up with the bonnet? I don't know. You know these 92%ers, the ski-wee community. They love their bonnets. I don't know what to tell you. Salute, Shine Right. Thank you for being here. As well as shalom and salute to our sister, Star Tay Jones in the building. Much love to you, my sister. Thank you for being here as well.
And I just saw the thing where this girl said her husband is an electrician. And he works at one of those big, huge, giant substations. And apparently Hyundai makes all the transformers and stuff. So what you think they're going to do? Y'all forgot we don't make shit here.
Yeah, they're going to mess up our relationship because they were in America doing business illegally and we caught them and stopped them. So now they're going to stop doing business that keep their country running. I'm telling you, these folks and their elaborate goddamn fear tactics. What do you think is going to happen? Well, if they want to continue to operate, I guess they're going to start hiring American citizens, aren't they? You know, they said the same thing. What do you think is going to happen when they were talking about Trump putting through the executive order saying English, if the person can't read English, he better not be working for these trucking companies? You know what ended up happening, family? While everybody was running around talking about what do you think is going to happen to our goods that need to be transferred from point A to point B? You know what happened, family? Let me allow our good FBA brother to tell you what happened in the trucking industry.
Y'all, I'm a truck driver, right? Let me tell you the effects of Donald Trump. This company called me begging me to work for them because they couldn't find drivers anymore. Why couldn't they find drivers? Because Donald Trump instituted that you must speak English in order to hold a CDL. That means people who are natural born Americans, people who have been here for centuries, who built the country, now we get opportunities that all these foreigners would get. Say what you want to about Trump. I'm not saying he's not racist, but what he's doing positively affects me. Now the jobs that were going to illegal immigrants that they were working for pennies on the dollar, now it goes to a natural born full-blooded American. Y'all,
That's it. That's all, family. That's it. That's all. And to my sister, I am Kiera. She said it only makes sense. Exactly. If you want to continue doing business, you're going to go and hire you an American. That's it. That's all. And since our FBA brother is so happy, look at the smile on his face. The company called him, begging him to work for them. Do you know what comes along with that, family? Perks, benefits, and bonuses. They're begging you to work for them. You're not begging them for a job. They're begging you to come up on over here and get this money. Get all this money. So that's what's going to happen if Honda want to continue doing business in America. They're going to go and hire somebody who's an American, who's supposed to be here, who didn't break into the country, who actually deserves that job. Exactly, my sister. You get to name your price when they call you, begging you to come and work for them. Oh, I don't see this as a bad thing at all. Yes, more opportunities for FBA freedmen. Exactly. Exactly. Get your money. Salute to our sister, Miss Nisi says, Hurricane Nisi says, I know about them perks, church. 6-week paid vacation, full benefits, fam. Exactly. Exactly. That's what you can get when they come looking for you. And they only come looking for you when you remove the ability to have these illegals working for them. So, to answer that sister's question, shalom and salute to our brother Leonardo Yuda. Thank you for being here, family. To answer this sister's question, that's what we think is going to happen, and that's what we expect to happen. And that's what should be happening. But let's let her continue.
We don't make nothing.
You steady talking about you worry about somebody taking your job. Your ass don't work. We don't make nothing.
Why all of a sudden nobody works? All of a sudden now, it started out with Jasmine Crockett talking about y'all ain't gonna work the fields, y'all ain't gonna work this kind of job or that kind of job. And now you got jobs that people are showing you aren't just field jobs, aren't just these low-level jobs that nobody wants to work, but it's literally good paying jobs. And now it went from y'all don't want to work those jobs to y'all don't work at all. Y'all not working? So nothing is working for them. They're moving the goalposts every chance they get because now they're getting put on front display that everything that y'all been saying is totally backwards. So now they're just saying it plain and simple. Y'all just not working. Damn, not working here or working there. Y'all just not working. Starte Jones says she has a tethered forehead. Yes, she does. That forehead can be used to break down any brick wall. A wrecking ball for real on that forehead. Salute the Faith Speaks Life, my sister. Thank you for your Cash App donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my sister. Let's let it continue. Hold up. Wait a minute. Take that away there. Ain't no mistakes being made here. Don't nobody like what you saying. Oh, that was it? That was all? All right. So I want to take you here, family, because we got to put some sense to all the idiots who ain't got none. Let's go here.
It just seems like Hyundai decided that they were going to do whatever they could not to hire Americans. That is almost 500 jobs that were taken from this community because the company decided they didn't want to hire Americans. What we also saw was that the majority were South Korean nationals. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there's something called immigrant networking. And what essentially happens is once a group of illegal or legal immigrants come in and they're working at a particular place, in some situations, they will only hire their own people. They won't hire Americans. They won't hire anyone outside of their communities. And this is exactly what was happening here.
And that's exactly what had to be stopped. That's exactly what had to be stopped. While all these people running their damn mouths about a bunch of nonsense, these folks deliberately decided what they were going to be doing. Yes, sir. He was unalived earlier today. I spoke about it earlier in the stream, family. You can go back on the replay and check it out. Let's go here, family, because with all the situations taking place and with the Hyundai factory getting raided in the way that it did, you know these companies are trying to figure out ways in order to keep their little slave labor, their little my precious aliens working at their plants. So they're trying to do a lot, including bringing in constitutional Fourth Amendment trials to say, hey, y'all are violating our Fourth Amendment rights by sending these officers, these federal officers, to raid our facilities and take our illegals. Let's go here, family. Now, remember, I told you to put a pin in in that talking point where they said that the federal judge signed off on a warrant. It wasn't just them just going in there taking all the illegals. A federal judge signed off on the warrant to do so. Let's go here.
We have some more breaking news to touch on this Sunday. According to the Associated Press, more than 300 South Korean workers who were detained following a massive immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia will be released and brought home. That's according to the South Korean government, who made that announcement on Sunday. Presidential chief of staff there said that South Korea and the U.S. had finalized.
Now, family, I want you to notice this is still Fox News, okay? But watch how they start talking on Fox News. They put up this goddamn Latino, and they brought in this goddamn Latino immigrant lawyer, attorney. Now watch all the lies and talking points that they just said. They're going to say that they that contradicts everything that they just said prior in the Fox News clips that I showed you.
Negotiations on the workers' release. He said South Korea plans to send a charter plane to bring the workers home as soon as remaining administrative steps are completed. U.S. immigration authorities on Friday said that they had detained 475 people. Most of them were South Korean nationals when hundreds of federal agents raided Hyundai's sprawling manufacturing site in Georgia, where the Korean automaker Hyundai makes electric vehicles. South Korea's foreign minister later said that more than 300 South Koreans were among the detained. The operation was the latest in a long line of workplace raids conducted as part of the Trump administration's mass deportation agenda. But the one on Thursday is especially distinct because of its large size and the fact that it targeted manufacturing sites that state officials have long called Georgia's largest economic development project. So that is just the latest breaking news from that story that we brought to you earlier this week. The fact that more than 300 South Korean workers that were detained following that massive immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia will be released and brought home. I want to continue on with some more of these immigration headlines by bringing on here immigration attorney Elizabeth Ricci. She joins us on the show to break it all down. Elizabeth, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. So I do want to pivot, though. I don't want to specifically ask.
Now, notice, like I said, she's an immigration attorney. Okay? They put this damn Latina up on there to basically contradict everything that they said prior in the clips I played earlier. That'd be, as Neely Fuller said, white supremacy taking both sides of the argument, all sides of the conversation.
You about that raid that happened in Georgia. Let's take a live look over here. This is in North Carolina because the question that I want to ask really corresponds with this. Earlier this week, in a unanimous vote, Durham City Council passed a resolution to make North Carolina a city of, quote, Fourth Amendment workplace. And that was in order to increase protections for city workers against some of these ICE enforcement efforts. Now, Elizabeth, I had never heard that term before. Can you explain what that is?
Sure. So the Fourth Amendment is regarding unlawful searches and seizures by the government. So North Carolina is particularly concerned about ICE coming into workplaces and demanding records and demanding employees to arrest for removal. So the concern is that officials want to know, company officials want to know, what rights do they have and do their workers have in that context? And they want to protect themselves and assert their Fourth Amendment rights. So there's a difference between a judicial warrant and an ICE warrant. And I'm actually going to be teaching a class on that to some officials soon. So an ICE warrant does not require probable cause the way a judicial warrant does. An ICE warrant does not allow forced entry the way a judicial warrant does. So it depends on the type of warrant that is presented. And it is very important that employers know the difference so they can inspect the warrants and make sure that they apply to their workplace and that particular date and are legitimate before.
Now, family, notice what she didn't say, was the information she chose to omit. That there was a federal warrant, a judicial warrant issued by a federal judge in the case. So why is she sitting here telling people the differences between a judicial warrant and an ICE retainer or an ICE warrant? Because the situation that happened at Hyundai, a federal judge signed off on a judicial warrant. So they're trying their hardest to make people believe that, hey, you have rights against the Fourth Amendment search and seizure, illegal search and seizure, but yet they had a warrant to circumvent that. Okay.
Law enforcement comes into the building to do their inspection and or their arrests.
Several cities across the country we have seen have these concerns when it comes to these raids that are happening. Why haven't we seen this been adopted before? And can we expect more of that in the coming weeks?
I think it wasn't expected before. I think employers thought that they were immune from this type of raid, but as we saw in Georgia recently with the Hyundai plant, that's not the case, although it is the workers who are being targeted and not the employers. And I think we will see more and more municipalities and states be concerned about their companies and their workers and assert those Fourth Amendment rights against unlawful searches and seizures. It's going to be much more commonplace, I expect.
You want to move on here to...
But this wasn't an unlawful search nor seizure. And here's the thing too. Family. If you think you can implement that and say, well, businesses have a right to privacy, so, ICE shouldn't be able to come in and do any searching and seizing of any of our workers, then where does this stop? Do restaurants then get the opportunity to say, well, the health department is violating our Fourth Amendment rights against illegal searches and seizures? Do inspectors now get turned away because companies say, well, they're going against our Fourth Amendment right against illegal searches and seizures, when the inspector comes there to make sure that things are running correctly, safety-wise or health-wise? Where does it end? Because those are federal situations too. The health department is federal. So it just doesn't make sense that they would be able to implement this Fourth Amendment without overstepping the legal area in it. I believe that the Supreme Court is going to shut that down.
Another headline regarding immigration and bringing us out to this live image that we have over in Washington, D.C. Earlier this week, we did see a legal aid group that was based in Arizona. So they have sued the Trump administration and the DOJ to preemptively block them from deporting a dozen Honduran children. We're going to follow this story closely, but Elizabeth, I want you to break it down for us a little bit here. When it comes to migrant children here that are, the DOJ is trying to deport them, how does that legal process work?
So children are in a unique position. They can often request a benefit called special immigrant juvenile if they've been declared a dependent of the state. In other words, they don't have a parent in the United States who can care for them, but they need to get an order from a family law court first. And if
family, why would you be in the United States without a parent to care for you? How did you get here without a parent to care for you? How have you been getting taken care of without a parent to care for you? Did you just walk across the border at 14, 15, 16? Or are they talking 5, 6, 7? They're making excuses for human trafficking, ladies and gentlemen. Because nobody's asking the question how the child got here if they had no parents with them. They got over here with people who said they were their parents and just left them to fend for themselves, is what it sounds like to me. So why isn't people running around pointing out the fact that these children are being trafficked? Why are you so concerned about them staying here rather than finding their actual parents and getting them home? So you don't care about a child being trafficked. You care more about them being able to stay in the country that their parents are not in. Wouldn't you want to do what's best for the child? And don't they say what's best for the child is being with their parents? Yeah, exactly, Johnson. She said that so nonchalantly. She said that way too nonchalantly. That made no sense.
are in deportation or removal, they're not really that different from that adult defendant. And what I do want to be clear about is that immigration violations are civil. They're not criminal. So those children do not have a right to an attorney.
Now here you go, saying this once again. They're saying, and this should show you that there's no difference between the left and the right side. This is Fox News. This is Fox News now parroting the same damn talking points that Jasmine Crockett was saying. These violations are civil. They're not criminal. Although they're breaking a federal law, they're breaking federal crimes. I mean, they're committing federal crimes. It is not federal. They're criminal, they say. It's not a crime.
In those proceedings, and we have seen cases of 5-year-olds defending themselves in immigration court, and that's a problem.
And then just continuing on with that whole process, let's say they are deported. Is there any kind of steps that are taken to ensure that those children are reunited with family members?
Not necessarily. And often they don't have.
Well, why isn't that the biggest goddamn step moving forward? Making sure that you find and reconnect these children with their actual parents. Oh, okay, because they don't have any documentation. Well, I think that, it would work better if you ship them back to their government, because 9 times out of the 10, their government has more documentation on these children than we would as America. Am I wrong in saying that? If I'm born in a different country, wouldn't that country have my documentation, my birth records, whatever records that come with children outside of America? I don't know. I'm American. I got a birth certificate. I got a social. I got ID. So wouldn't you want to send them back to their country so that the country can find their parents and reunite them with the children? No, you wouldn't, huh? Because these are the people you want to keep in the country to later then take the jobs of the people who were born here. Okay, yeah. On Fox News, ladies and gentlemen.
Family members. Sometimes the family members are in the United States or they're deceased. And that's why getting that special immigrant juvenile court order from the family law court in the United States is so helpful, so that if they are removed, they're not just dropped off and having to fend for themselves as toddlers or small children.
They're never just dropped off. When you're deporting people, you're deporting them back to their original government. Their government intercepts the deportees and then takes them. That's why Trump has been having so many issues with getting some of these people back home, because some of their governments refuse to take them back. And that's why you have situations where these people are being sent over to African countries. That's the reason. It's because some of these governments refuse to work with them to take their citizens back. But for those who don't have a problem taking their citizens back, those children shouldn't be an issue. And even if they have a problem taking criminals back, you can't say, hey, those children are criminals too, we don't want to take them. No, you as whatever government should understand that these children are not criminals, they're victims. And they need to be reunited with their parents. Salute Wild Williams. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. Salute to Andrea Jones. She said their parents sold them. We don't get down like that. Very nasty and disgusting work. You're absolutely correct, family. And nobody's talking about it in the way that it needs to be talked about on the DNC side. And like I said, you all know I am no Trump supporter. But everything that these people are saying is very anti-American, very, very anti-American.
Right, we're going to stay with some more of this news regarding the Trump administration. Back out live to this image of the White House. Earlier this week, we saw a federal judge, this happening in San Francisco, they blocked the Trump administration from ending temporary legal protections that have been granted to more than 1 million people from Haiti and Venezuela. They had been granted the right to live and work in the United States. Break that down for us, Elizabeth. When it comes to that protection status, why was that granted in the first place, and what does it entail?
So you're referring to TPS, temporary protective status, which is basically a protection for people in the United States so they do not have to return to their home countries that are experiencing civil strife, natural disaster, that type of thing. And the Secretary of Homeland Security this week said that they've reviewed the conditions in Venezuela and that they no longer merit TPS, which if you have any Venezuelan friends or family members, as I do, you'd know that things like toilet paper are hard to come by. People have basically no rights even to use their own homes. So that's...
Family, it has been temporarily blocked. Temporarily. It's still going to go up to a higher court, and I'm pretty sure they're going to remove that temporary block. That's just my opinion, but I'll let this lady continue.
Disingenuous, but in any event, so TPS was granted for people from Haiti, from Venezuela, because they met those conditions. And now the secretary is saying that one, those conditions have improved, which they have not. But two, that TPS was being used as a magnet to come to the United States, which does not fall within the reasoning to be able to justify the termination of TPS. In addition, courts have said that the president and the secretary were using the Alien Enemies Act to justify terminating TPS for 600,000 Venezuelans and additional Haitians. And a federal judge determined that there was no invasion of foreign government, which is the requirement to be able to invoke that act. But the Supreme Court, on the other hand, has said that the president can terminate TPS. So we see that Venezuelans and Haitians especially are going to be in a limbo in these coming days and weeks because we have different courts making different conflicting decisions about who can stay and who must go.
That's really interesting. And I feel like the next question would be, why is this not sort of an open and shut case, and really who is going to be listened to when it comes to that decision? But we'll dive deeper on that in a later segment, Elizabeth, because I do want to get to one more story here, and that is concerning Kilmar Abrego Garcia. So that case is still continuing on here, but the latest is the fact that immigration enforcement saying Friday in a letter that they intend to send Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the African nation of Eswatini after he expressed a fear of deportation to Uganda. So, Elizabeth, are we just going to keep going down different nations in Africa to try to send Kilmar to?
It certainly seems like it. The reason that he was not going to be, it looks like, going to Uganda was because he asserted a claim for asylum. And I think he'll do the same for Eswatini, formerly Swaziland. And the reason being that he will experience persecution based on the media attention, everything that's happened to him in the United States, and that he would not be safe there. So this is just a case that's been compounded with errors and legal maneuverings over and over that really have complicated his legal profile. But it does look like that's the location where...
Family, notice how she just said this case, the Kilbar case, is a case riddled in errors. Family, what errors do you have when you're beating your damn wife? When you're threatening her damn life? When you're found to be trafficking and your asylum claim was already denied? Someone please explain that to me. These folks are freaking out of their minds. They're out of their minds.
They want to send him because he declined a deal to go to Costa Rica.
So, Elizabeth, I know that you do teach some classes.
Oh, so he had a chance to go to Costa Rica. He didn't have to get sent back home, and he declined that too. Well, you're going to get sent somewhere, Kilbar. You're going to get sent somewhere. Costa Rica probably would have been a better bet for you, sir. Now, I'm pretty sure wherever they send you, it's going to be somewhere in Africana. But go off.
Sometimes when we look at Kilmar Abrego's case here, how do you talk to your students about that? Especially because, as you mentioned before, it's very unprecedented what we have seen here.
Well, I'm not teaching this semester, particularly because everything is changing so quickly, and I do have a law practice and a family, and I'd have to basically redo the curriculum every lesson. But this particular case is unbelievable because it all stemmed from an error by the administration that they were not willing to own up to, and they have just continued to double down and double down. This individual has no convictions. He has a citizen family, and he is the poster child for how
the man has an order of removal. He been had an order of removal, and the Biden administration did not remove him. His family, he was a terrorist too. All the evidence show that his own dang wife was calling the po on him for how violent he was being. We have video evidence of this man trafficking people, and he got released. What is this woman talking about? What is this woman talking about? Somebody please explain to me. All off of error that the Trump administration just couldn't admit to being wrong about. These people go the full damn Monty when it has nothing to do with foundational Black Americans. When they got to do with illegals, oh, they go the full damn yard.
not to effectuate a legal case.
Immigration attorney Elizabeth Ricci, we're always glad to have you here on the show. A lot of headlines to get to every single week, so we appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Of course.
Family, I want to go here real quick to this sister here, because these people talking to us like we don't know what the hell is, like what we're seeing is something totally different than what we're seeing. We're not supposed to believe our eyes, just believe what we tell you. I'm going to go over here to this sister real quick.
Where's the 92% at? Because they've been running with this narrative that illegals are coming here and they're getting certain jobs that Americans don't want. Well, the bust at the Hyundai plant just proved them fucking wrong. Almost 500 illegals working in the auto industry. The 92% know damn well that the Great Migration from the South, which most of our families from, yeah, all of our families are from if you're a foundational Black American descended from a slave, they left up to the Midwestern states to work for the auto industry. Places like Ford, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Buick, those type of manufacturers that went out of business when the car industry crashed. We have people in our families working there for a minimum of 2 generations that retired. And a lot of their pensions were fucked when the car industry failed. So for the 92% to get their asses out here and pretend like these ain't jobs that Americans want, no, these are jobs that American families grew off of, built generational wealth off of, that are being given to illegals. And next, Trump needs to come for the construction industry, because a bunch of Black people used to work in construction. Now in my state of Washington, only thing you see are Latinos, SAs, Hispanics. You don't see no Black people. Every now and then you might see some white people working. You really don't see no Black people working on these jobs. Something is up with the construction industry as well. The auto industry, start raiding them motherfuckers, and next these construction sites. Because I know damn well they don't got no papers. Ice, ice, baby. Come on, come on. Do you know how many prisoners can be trained to do those jobs? You know how many youth could be trained to do those jobs? We don't need illegals to come in this country and do a fuck thing. Nope, not according to the 13th Amendment. Because the 13th Amendment still makes you a slave in this country if you have been encountered by law enforcement or doing time. So we can, all our prisoners can do this shit. And they can get paid more than $2 an hour and get some experience. So when they get out of jail, our recidivism rates will go down. Yeah, we don't need illegals to do a fuck thing. A fuck thing. Send their asses all back where the fuck they came from. And 92%, you're more than welcome to take y'all asses with them.
Hey, salute to that sister, and I 100% agree with what she said. There are so many ways we as people who belong to the land can actually benefit from it, but these folks don't want us doing it. They don't want us benefiting from it. And when I say these folks, I'm talking about not just your goddamn Koreans or whoever else is bringing their own damn workers. I'm talking about your Democratic Party as well. These folks want you to believe that it behooves you to allow people to come and bring their own work class with them. Bring their own workforce with them. They think that's going to help you as a citizen here in America. How? Not only are you giving away our jobs, but you're depleting our resources while doing it, because they're going to have to live somewhere. They're going to have to eat. They're going to have to wash their ass. Salute a Law Solution. Thank you for being here, brother. Yeah, I saw that. I already spoke about it at the beginning of this broadcast, family. So yeah, family, nobody should feel any type of issue with that situation happening in Hyundai, excuse me. As a matter of fact, we should want a lot more of those situations to go around. Now, the sister brought up the fact that they need to be hitting construction sites as well. Well, I got to say to that sister and to everybody listening under the sound of my voice, if you see something, say something, because this whole situation was set off not by Trump, not by Tom Homan, but by a Nabisco woman who decided to make that phone call. So if you're seeing these work sites and it's majority Boricua and all this other stuff, Ching Chong or whatever the hell else, oh, go ahead and make that phone call. ICE is right around the corner. And if they're nationals, they'll be sent home and told, you got the rest of the day off. I'm pretty sure some of those nationals who got sent home and got the rest of the day off kind of appreciated that. I'm like, oh, dang, my hands were kind of getting tired. Well, at least it wasn't me. But those who are illegals, yeah, get them up out of here, coach. And family, the raids ain't just started and just going on in, Georgia, family. It's touching everywhere. Everywhere. We just got word that Boston's getting a little taste of that ICE action too. Let's go here.
A new report says the Trump administration has started an ICE operation in Massachusetts. According to the New York Times, the operation includes the city of Boston. Sources say the operation began late last week and is expected to last for several weeks. The administration reportedly says it is targeting, quote, the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens living in the state. The operation in Massachusetts began just days before the Trump administration was expected to start an immigration crackdown in Chicago. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu has been consistently pushing back against federal immigration enforcement in the city.
Shout out to our brother DSA1. Thank you for being here, family. He says, so this is going to be the Boston Iced Tea Party. Yes. Go Boston. Let's go, family. No, we got some more. Hold up.
ICE is once again targeting Massachusetts with another immigration crackdown.
State leaders are responding this morning, and WBC's Penny Commit is live at the State House with the story. Good morning, Penny.
Paula, Chris, good morning. So the Department of Homeland Security is now launching what they call Operation Patriot 2.0. This is a new initiative where they'll be really cracking down on undocumented immigrants throughout the state of Massachusetts. Now, this was just released in a report this weekend. The DHS says that Boston Mayor Michelle Wu's sanctuary city policies have created a public safety threat. Last Thursday, the Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against the city of Boston, Mayor Wu, and Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox, claiming they're breaking the law by refusing to assist with immigration enforcement. State leaders are now responding to this new ICE operation. Massachusetts State Rep Jake Auchincloss says that if the Trump admin wants to support law enforcement in the state and city, he better work with Governor Healy and Mayor Wu first.
Bay Staters don't want criminals.
Oh, he said better. He's putting a definer on there. If he wants this to work, he better be contacting the governor and the mayor. Hey, family, I said we ain't got to better do nothing but stay ice and ride. Let's go.
Walking on our streets, rapists, thieves, murderers absolutely should be incarcerated, deported. They also don't want thuggery on their streets. Government agents mass pulling up in unmarked vans, tackling people, surrounding people.
In Mayor Wu's most recent statement regarding ICE presence in the area, she said, quote, "For months, ICE has refused to provide any information about their activities in Boston and refuses to issue warrants, while we hear reports of ICE agents taking parents as they are dropping their kids off at school. That does not make our community safer." As we know, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu has been a very vocal opponent of federal immigration enforcement coming into the city of Boston. She constantly says they are not welcome here, so we are expecting to hear some response from her sometime today. For now, we're live in Boston. I'm Penny Commit, WBZ News.
Oh, family, you think they care about whether or not they're welcome in Boston? No. They don't give two I was about to say two shits, but they don't give two of them about any welcomings. You don't have to lay out the welcome mat, nothing. They're kicking in Boston's door and they said, "Hey, illegals, it's your turn." They even got their own goddamn, what is it called, operation name for it. It's called Patriot 2.0. Let's go here, family.
Video coming in this afternoon of immigration roundups in Massachusetts. We've been seeing people taken into custody in places like Lowell and Lynn. Our David Beating is live in Boston with more on this. David.
Good afternoon, Jessica. This immigration operation, which the Trump administration has dubbed Patriot 2.0, started late last week. And so far, immigration officials have not said how many people they have detained so far in Massachusetts. One video posted online shows a woman and a man being taken into custody this morning in Lowell. And another shows two agents, including one carrying a long gun, approaching an apartment building in Lynn. Now, a neighbor there tells us that she was watching from across the street when a young man from that building was taken away.
And that's when I see they took my neighbor's son, which he's American, born and raised here. I know him since he was a little kid from all the street in Lynn. So I called the mom and I asked him, and he said, "Don't worry," but I called the mom to let them know that they took one of her sons.
In Boston, Mayor Michelle Wu says she is hearing anecdotal information about these ICE activities, but she says the city has asked ICE to provide details about who is being detained, why, and where they're being held, and has received no information. The mayor says Boston is considering some sort of legal action about this immigration crackdown, but so far has not filed anything in court. Live in Boston, David Beating, WCBD News Center 5.
All right, David, thanks. As a reminder, Massachusetts Attorney General Andrea Campbell has a guide with your rights during any interactions with immigration enforcement. You can read the entire thing from our WCBB app and website.
Yeah, my sister Black Spider, Joe Biden said, "You're going to have to start working with the Hispanics who make up a greater number than you do." It looks like those numbers are dwindling, ain't it, Biden? How's your Hispanics doing now, Biden? How's your aliens doing now, Biden? Doesn't look too good for those folks. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. We don't forget. And it behooves us not to. As our elders said.
But the axe forgets, the tree remembers. You can't have a short memory and be black. You open yourself up for attack. You got to have a long memory because you're singing a long song. Y'all feel me? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do. So for everybody out there who is disrespecting us, calling on us to come and help them as they disrespected our culture, our lineage, our heritage, our land. Oh no, everybody's finding out. Even in Mayor Brandon Johnson's neighborhood. Yeah, family, it touched and it started in Chicago as well. Let's go here, family.
Back up. You're in my way. Back up. Back up. Back up.
Don't touch
back
me.
Up. Back up.
Don't touch me. You're already in there. No,
back up. Blow your fist up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up now. Come on, my friend. Back up. Back up.
¿Cuál es su nombre? You bitch ass niggas.
Family, what is it about these people that sit here and they literally use the N-word on all these ICE people and none of them are black? All of a sudden, they can speak English. They out here saying N-words and everything else. And it's just so freely. So freely.
You bitch ass niggas. ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cuál es el número del teléfono?
That's okay. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up.
You ain't fight long, nigga.
Yeah, family, I'm glad they're getting all of this treatment. And while you out there calling people bitch ass N-words, you're still not understanding that you're disrespecting us even further. So even the people who may be out there like, you know, I feel bad for Maria. I feel bad for Juan Julio. As soon as they hear that B-A-N-word, yeah, we tend to take a step back even further. Yeah, maybe it's a good thing that they're over there getting Juan and Pedro, Maria, Alexandria, Victoria, whatever. And it's not just handheld stuff happening either. So it's not just on the street level. No, the news is making sure people understand that, hey, it's begun. Federal operations begun in Chicago today. Oh, yeah. So we didn't hit Georgia. We didn't hit Boston. They're hitting Chicago. Well, where else? Let me see. Where else? I know that we spoke about New York earlier. Where else do we need to speak about? There's one more place I know that we need to speak about with the loudest voice. What place is that? Oh, yeah. We got to talk about Los Angeles and Karen Bass. Because out there, apparently, they just hit a car wash out there in California. Another business going down. And Karen Bass had a lot to say. So let's get over here and hear what Karen Bass had to say. Shall we?
Highest court sides with the Trump administration. Another big story today, clearing the way for federal agents to carry out sweeping immigration enforcement again. Welcome to the Fox 11 News at 5 simulcast on our sister station, Fox 11 Plus. I'm Christine Devine. So LA's Mayor Karen Bass stood united with several community leaders outside the Westlake Home Depot today. They were condemning the Supreme Court's decision. That's where we find Fox 11's Rachel Aragon with the story. Rachel?
Several top LA city leaders stood outside this very Home Depot in Westlake. A reminder, it's one of several stores that was targeted by federal agents earlier this month and last month. We also know, though, after today's big Supreme Court ruling, it's prompting more concerns and fears about these raids continuing.
We will not allow the Supreme Court or anyone to divide us.
Outrage and a promise to fight back. The message from LA Mayor Karen Bass after the country's highest court's decision allowing federal agents to continue sweeping immigration operations in Los Angeles using race or language as a basis to stop people.
Law enforcement cannot racially profile and discriminate against Latinos, against Angelenos based on their race.
Wait a second. No, Karen. We're going to have to run that back. I need to hear you say that again.
As a basis to stop people.
Law enforcement cannot racially profile and discriminate against Latinos, against Angelenos based on their race.
Oh, so law enforcement can discriminate against Latinos, against Angelenos. See, I get what you're saying now because you just put a huge dot together for me. I just connected that dot. You don't look at Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, as Angelenos. You, Karen Bass, does not look at Black citizens as Angelenos. You only look at Latinos as Angelenos. You said that law enforcement cannot racially discriminate against Angelenos, against Latinos, but you don't have no problem letting them discriminate against foundational Black Americans. You have absolutely no issue. Let's go here, family. We're going to take a detour real quick. No issue
Hills has been
with
accused of
this.
systemic racial profiling, specifically targeting African Americans. The lawsuit claims that hundreds of people have been arrested for no good reason.
And Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes is live in Beverly Hills with that and what the city is saying in response. Rob?
Yeah, the money being sought here is definitely grabbing a lot of attention. This is a class action lawsuit against the city of Beverly Hills, and it's claiming that the city is trying to keep Black people from coming here.
We are suing Beverly Hills for $500 million.
$500 million. That's the sum attorneys Ben Crump and Brad Gage say the city of Beverly Hills needs to pay in their racial profiling lawsuit.
Since 1995, there have been claims of racial profiling. 28 years, and yet nothing has changed. If anything, it's become worse.
The two have filed a class action lawsuit representing 1,086 Black people out of the 1,088 they say were unjustly arrested by the Beverly Hills police between 2019 and 2021. Some of them, they say, caught up in the city's Rodeo Drive task force designed to crack down on fraudulent purchases at the famous shopping district.
It wasn't to deter crime. It was to send a message to Black people that we don't want your kind around here.
In 2 years, 1,088 Black people arrested, only 2 convictions. There's only one explanation for that. They want to drive Black people out of the city.
But the city of Beverly Hills denies the allegations of racism. It released a written statement this afternoon that says, in part, the statistics presented referencing the number of convictions is a mischaracterization of the evidence in this case. In addition, the 1,088 arrests referenced include people cited and released, not just custodial arrests. But for some of the people detained by Beverly Hills officers, the city's defense doesn't hold water.
I was stopped just for being Black while driving in Beverly Hills.
These officers got behind my vehicle, doing the lights, pulled me over. I spent 3 days in jail. Humiliating, scary, sad.
Now, the suing attorneys say $500 million is on the low end since it breaks down to just about $500,000 for each of the plaintiffs involved in the suit.
Family, you don't hear Karen Bass saying nothing about that, do you? She ain't over here talking about how the LAPD has been literally racially profiling Black Angelenos. She only care about the fact that ICE is racially profiling Latinos, who she believes are the only Angelenos, in my humble opinion. Because if she didn't believe that, she'd be speaking like this across the damn board. She actually have control over the Los Angeles Police Department as the mayor. So she don't give no damns that this is happening to us, and none of those Democrats do. When it comes to us. Let me go to this sister here because she's speaking on this. She's speaking about the closing of Alligator Alcatraz, even though we know that that has been basically, that ruling has been shut down and the Supreme Court has said, yes, you can open Alligator Alcatraz. But this sister, she was speaking towards all the Democrats getting together to shut down Alligator Alcatraz and how they can get things done when they want to, but they never do because they don't want to get things done for me and you. Let's go here, family.
So y'all, I wanted this message is to my Black American women that's heavy. You know what I mean? That's heavy, that vote for the Democratic Party, because we got to give a big ups to the Democratic Party. Okay. The Democratic Party are putting in so much work. Okay. Like when they want to show you they care, they show you they care. I mean, they just got Alligator Alcatraz closed for the immigrants. You understand what I'm saying? Like, wow. I mean, when they want to get to work, they can get to work. You understand what I'm saying? But their base, who has a lot of sons, fathers, uncles, just locked up in these prisons in the most horrible conditions. I'm talking about they getting ate up by bed bugs. They dying from starvation. I mean, just all types of stuff. You understand? These prisons are running they running head first. You know what I mean? They're doing amazing. They just filling them up and filling them up. And I mean, I haven't heard any outrage from the Democrats about these prisons, though. That's been functioning like this for decades. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I just find it amazing how much work they are putting in for the Black community and how much work they are putting in for the immigrant community. You know what I mean? Like, they are really showing both sides that they care. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know they can get some shit closed. You understand what I'm saying? Like, these prisons, I mean, They everywhere, and they all are running just like alligator Alcatraz. You know what I'm saying? But they still get to function. You know, it's just interesting. You know, well, probably because there's not any outrage coming from the Democrats about that. You know what I mean? Because our black men are not that important. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. And they wonder why the black men are pulling away. You know, I mean, but man, they can get some shit done. You understand? I got to get credit where credit's due. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, man, if that doesn't make you mad as a black woman, you understand what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. I mean, I just wonder how the black women are going to stick it to them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, how are y'all going to stick it to these people? You know what I mean? Like, because they are really putting in that work. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can show you when they care. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they can really, I didn't know the Democrats could even get shit done like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't pass no bills worth a damn. You know what I mean? But man, they can get this close. Oh my God. But yet these prisons that are being filled up with our young black men, you know what I mean? They can function any kind of way and there's no outrage. That is interesting. But we vote for the Democratic Party 90% of the time. How is that? How is that? And look how they repay their base, their black women. You know what I mean? And I don't hear no outrage from these black women. They just go and vote for them anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand. I swear. You have to figure out, how do you punish people? You know what I mean? Or if you're going to punish people, you know what I mean? Because people have to understand, if you allow people to treat you like shit, okay, they're going to treat you like shit. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's an easy thing to do, you know? So, and if you want to keep getting treated like shit, you know, just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Keep showing them that you like being treated like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all you got to do, you know? Oh my God. I swear, black American women, the least you can do to put some fire behind these folks, you know what I mean? Even if you're not sure, you know, you're really not going to ever vote any other way, the least you could do is change your voter registration to independent. You know what I mean? Because you should not be full force. You should not be full force behind the Democratic Party. You know what I mean? I mean, independent, if anything, but just full force behind the Democratic Party, and they treating y'all like this. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is embarrassing. This is disrespectful. This is such a kick in the ass. You understand what I'm saying? And I just think about it. Peace and blessings, y'all.
Okay, family. Like I said, the sisters 100% fold, and this goes for this situation too. Karen Bass, literally, there should be no reason why this woman should ever be voted back into any office. She just literally got up there and told everybody who she values the most. You can't just come in here racially profiling Latinos and Angelinos. Oh, but they can come in under your power, under your thumb, under your hand, and racially profile all your Black American citizens. That right there says a lot, Karen Boss. Salute to our sister Mia Kim in the building. Much love to you, as always. A pleasure. Always a pleasure. So let's get back over here to what Karen Boss was saying. I just have to take that quick detour because I just found it very, very strange that you have a problem with ICE racially profiling Latinos, Angelinos, but you have no damn problem with the people that you actually have under your control, which is the Los Angeles Police Department, racially profiling your Black citizens. Not just on the average, but so often to where there's a lawsuit going on for $500 million over it. Let's go back over here.
From Home Depots to car washes, over the last 3 months, the federal immigration raids in the LA area have made some fearful to continue or find work.
Approximately 247 car wash workers have disappeared from our communities.
They ain't disappeared. They got deported. Pow, pow, pow. They hit that airplane, and guess what? Guess what? In the words of our brother Beatzilla, somebody yelled out, "Fire up the jets. That's where they are. They didn't get, as you said, disappeared.
This is just unacceptable.
It's a daily fear in our community. People aren't going to church, aren't going to work in many cases.
Ron Gochez, a community organizer and teacher in South Los Angeles, says after Monday's ruling, he plans to continue conducting.
Well, that's good. If illegals aren't going to work, guess what they have to do? Fire them and hire who? They'll have to fire them and hire who? Americans. Yeah, I know. It hurts you to say so. But that's exactly what'll have to happen if they want to stay in business.
In community patrols.
What we try to do is we try to locate ICE activity.
You see that woman try to stop the damn ICE truck? She lucky she didn't get slammed to the damn floor.
As to continue conducting community patrols.
What we try to do is we try to locate ICE activity before they strike so that we can warn our community so they have a chance to defend themselves.
In a social.
Hey, Tom Homan, I think I found your next target. You know, that's called obstruction. Federal obstruction at that. Just saying.
Social media post, Department of Homeland Security calling the Supreme Court's decision a victory, adding DHS will continue to arrest and remove the criminal illegal aliens that the mayor of LA is protecting.
Serious move?
But top city leaders say they're not backing down despite Monday's decision.
From the beginning, we have known that Los Angeles has been used as a test case for total dominance and unchecked power by the federal government.
And earlier today, Mayor Bass also adding, she says she has taken several steps in response to all this. As one example, she said she filed a Freedom of Information request to get more answers from the federal government as to where and why people are being taken away. Free Live in Westlake. Rachel Aragon, back to you.
Why are they getting taken away? Because they're here illegally. That's why. These people are acting like the federal government don't have a job to do. Just because Biden didn't do his job when he was in office, don't mean that Tommy Homan isn't going to do his. Let's be very clear about it. But people ask all the time, what is it that make these people so dang gung-ho over these illegals? Is it just the fact that they want them to be their constituents? No, it can't be that. Many of the times, I say all the time, it's due to some sort of kickback that they're getting from somewhere. Some business is giving them a kickback. Some group is giving them a kickback. In the case of Carolyn Boss, we've come to find out that Carolyn Boss has been getting funding from some China people, Chinese communist bankers to be more specific. Oh yeah, let's go here, family.
I'm Christina Awayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass allegedly took money from a pair of bankers with ties to Chinese communist intelligence, who were then appointed to her mayoral transition advisory team. The Democrat mayor is being accused of taking campaign donations from bankers Dominic Nguyen and Simon Pang, both of whom have held positions with influence networks of the Chinese Communist Party, specifically the United Front Work Department, UFWD. According to an investigative report by the DCNF, Nguyen and Pang donated large amounts of money to Bass's campaigns and a related nonprofit before being appointed to her mayoral transition advisory team back in December of 2022. Experts say the situation is a huge red flag for Chinese Communist Party infiltration into U.S. politics. According to campaign finance records, Yin and Pang and their affiliated banks have donated about $1 million to Bass's political efforts and the nonprofit. These contributions came right before she appointed them to the transition team, raising questions about quid pro quo. The mayoral transition advisory team is a group of people tasked with guiding policy and staffing decisions for her administration. Experts like Gordon Chang, author of Plan Red, China's Project to Destroy America, told DCNF that Los Angeles is now a wide open city for China's communists, saying the ties are evidence of CCP efforts to infiltrate U.S. cities. That's what you need to know. In Dallas, Christina Awayo.
So, family, we're seeing situations where allegedly people such as Carolyn Boss, they're out here taking money from the Chinese Communist Party, from bankers to be more specific. And not only that, she then made them her advisors in her cabinet. Now, family, if that's not showing that there's a problem somewhere, I don't know what is. And yeah, I truly believe that this whole situation needs to be investigated, even further. Even further. Because if you found some money coming in from there, where else are we going to find money coming in from? Exactly. Slush fund money. Who are your other partners? And family, to be honest with you, we shouldn't be that surprised. Why else would people be going so dang hard for people who really isn't going to benefit them? It's because they already have some sort of benefit that's being given to them in another area. In the very same way that Jasmine Crockpot Crockett was sitting here losing her mind about the redistricting, only to come to find out that they redistrict all the major businesses out of her out of her district. It's never really about what they say it's about. They're just trying to protect their pockets. And that's what we've been seeing, especially with this Karen Boss situation. And that's all good and dandy. You know why? Because it's not going to stop what's going on here. The deportations are going to continue to roll in. Not only continue to roll in, but these deportations are going to start amping up pretty rapidly. Why? Because the Orange Man has decided, hey, you know what? Let's just remove all the red tape that the ICE agents had to participate in, like all the paperwork and all this other stuff that would take weeks upon weeks of getting information done in order to get raids going. Let's remove all that red tape and let's get these people out of our country. Let's go here.
As exclusive new reporting today on the Trump administration's immigration crackdown.
Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, has scrapped paperwork that officers previously needed to fill out before launching an operation to make arrests. That's according to 6 current and former officials with the Department of Homeland Security. That policy had been in place for more than a decade.
And new protests against increased ICE raids are planned in Chicago later today. The demonstrations come one day after the Trump administration launched an operation they say is targeting undocumented immigrants there. We'll have more from Chicago in just a moment, but first, we'll go to NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley.
So what our reporting shows is that there was a piece of paperwork that was involved in every ICE operation going back to at least 2007. This is known as the Field Operations Worksheet. Sounds very bureaucratic and criminal, but what it did is it showed the homework that ICE officers had done before they went out to conduct operations that would lead to immigrant arrest. It included things like a name, an address, a picture, possibly the immigration history, criminal history, whether or not there might be children in the home of the person who they were going to arrest. And in this case, we understand that in this administration, that policy that required officers to do those forms and submit them to their supervisor has been discontinued. We talked to current and former DHS officials, some of whom are very worried, saying that this could open up the officers to more liability. They say that it also means that there are more spontaneous or randomized arrests. We know some people have said that they think that ICE is profiling in communities where they think that they can go out and arrest someone merely because of a suspicion they might be an undocumented immigrant based on things like where they work, or the people that were hanging around, or the language they speak, or simply the color of their skin. And of course, we've seen the Supreme Court recently ruled that it was okay for ICE in Los Angeles to be conducting roving arrest, where they go around and arrest people based on reasonable suspicion. All of this is coming at a time where we know that ICE is increasing its enforcement in cities like Chicago and Boston. And so it's important to look at the way the policies may have changed within the agency and how officers may not know as much about the people who they go out to arrest than they previously did. This is part of the administration getting on board with Trump's campaign promise to increase deportations. And of course, that very strict mandate from Stephen Miller at the White House in May, telling them they needed to be arresting 3,000 per day.
My bad, family. Put it on mute for a second. Family, I don't feel no way about this.
At the Sutter Middle School Talent Show in Folsom, California, you won't see a phone.
Family, I feel no way about it at all. I don't feel bad. I feel like I want to see more of this. I want to see it amped up in the way it's supposed to be amped up. I want to see more people who own businesses getting arrested for breaking the law. I want to see more people who are hiring these people and incentivizing these people arrested for breaking the law. We done went through Hyundai in Georgia. We in Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Karen Bass. All of these folks need to go in every damn area. You need to hit the red states too. Don't think I wasn't going to mention the red states, Trump. You need to be hitting Texas. You need to be hitting Florida. You need to hit all the red states just like you hitting the blue states too, and getting them out of there just as quickly. Otherwise, all you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on an open shotgun wound. Now, family, I'm going to play our brother one more time just so people can understand the gravity of why you shouldn't feel any kind of goddamn way about these people. Let's go back here.
Y'all, I'm a truck driver, right? Let me tell you the effects of Donald Trump. This company called me begging me to work for them because they couldn't find drivers anymore. Why couldn't they find drivers? Because Donald Trump instituted that you must speak English in order to hold a CDL. That means people who are natural born Americans, people who have been here for centuries, who built the country, now we get opportunities that all these foreigners would get. Say what you want to about Trump. I'm not saying he's not racist, but what he's doing positively affects me. Now the jobs that were going to illegal immigrants, that they were working for pennies on the dollar, now it goes to a natural born, full-blooded American. Y'all, I'm a truck driver, right?
Shout out to that brother, like I said, and shout out to everybody who saw this as an opportunity to get out there and get that shmoney, baby. You got to get that shmoney. Shmoney. But hold up. If you think we're done.
Oh, yes, but we are not done yet.
We got a little bit more to go. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a couple more clips. Family, we got people coming out saying it like it is. Saying what needs to be said. Hell, this next sister I'm about to play, this sister asks a very, very great question and an important question that everybody who has reservations about this need to ask yourself. When did America become foster care for every goddamn person around the globe? Since when were we responsible for everyone and everyone's children? That should have never became a situation. Let's go here, family. Give me a second. Let me pull this down. Put our sister up real quick. One second. There we go. Let's go here, family.
I got a real big question to ask you. When did America become the damn foster care system for the whole world? That's not what this is. Y'all not entitled to be here, especially damn illegally. We should have a quota. Do you know any place else in the damn world you can't even barely become a damn citizen? You know how much work it takes to become a citizen other places? Sometimes you just cannot. You can only stay for a couple years and get your ass out. We got the most. When did we become foster care for y'all? No. If you illegal, get your ass out. I hope they deport so many of y'all that they change the damn automated system so it ain't got no number 2 for Spanish on that shit. If you illegal, get your ass on. This is America. Speak English. Come over here legally. Do shit the right way. Other than that, shut your ass up and go home. What is all this extra shit about? No, absolutely not.
That's it. That's all. Simple, plain, straight to the point. We ain't got nothing to do with you folks. We ain't responsible for you nor your better life. You need to do things in the right way or get the hell up out of our faces. And family, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Ever since this situation really started picking up in the way that it's been picking up, you ain't really been seeing people running around here talking all that nonsense they were talking before, you know, these deportations started getting really massively out there, did you? You don't hear all the nonsense about FBAs or a cult. You don't hear all this nonsense about people talking about, oh, they're going to get you next. They're coming after you. As a matter of fact, we're starting to see the quite opposite, where you seeing people coming out checking their tethers. And we've been telling people for the longest, check your tethers or we're going to check your tethers. And once we check your tethers, I guarantee you, you ain't going to like it. And it's going to come with consequence if we check your tethers. So now we're seeing more and more of Black immigrants and other immigrants, not just Black immigrants. You're seeing Latino immigrants and you're seeing other immigrants now really saying what it is because they don't want to get targeted in these ICE raids. They're starting to realize that everybody we turn our back on get attacked by ICE. And that's probably not where they want to be too much, to be honest with you, but that's where they are. And they're starting to realize, they're starting to recognize, they're starting to analyze the whole board and how the chess plays are moving. So now, guess what? You got people such as this dude I'm about to play here coming out now making sure people understand, hey, don't be coming over here talking about you work harder. Don't be coming over here saying that you're better. Don't be coming over here and say the white man wants you over here. All the things that we've been telling folks, now you have people within the immigrant community turning to their tethers and saying it with their whole damn chest not to be doing that nonsense. Let's go here, family, in closing.
African immigrants should stop saying that they're doing better than every other people in America. I am sick.
Hold on, family. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slow this down because last time I let an African speed up like this, or I sped up an African like this, my sister, Miss Nisi, hit me and made sure to next time put on the closed captions, but this don't have closed captions. Well, it does down there. But I'm still going to slow it down so you can hear him say what he has to say verbatim. And shout out to our sister Hurricane. Nisi, you already know. Much love to you, my sister. Always keeping me on my toes. Let's get in here.
African immigrants should stop saying that they're doing better than every other people in America. I am sick of it. African immigrants, hear me. I know many of you really don't like the way I talk, and that's because I speak objectively. You are not doing better than any other racial group or any other person here in America. And the comparison is always with them and Black Americans. I don't know for some reason why African immigrants in America always want to compare themselves that they're doing better than Black Americans. You're not doing better than anybody, for real. African immigrants, hear me. You only have an opportunity that you don't have in Africa. Yes, you have an opportunity that you don't have in Africa. And that is why when you explore your skills here in a better environment here in the US, it looks like you're doing better. Ask yourself this question. If you are doing better, why couldn't you do better in Africa? If you are doing better, why are you such in a hurry to run away from Africa, looking for visa in all the African embassy to run away and come to the US? And you come to the US, you want to act like you're doing better because you are able to utilize opportunity you find here in America? It don't make no sense. We should stop it. If you even think that you're doing better in America, who actually made that possible? Black people were the one that actually fought for all the opportunity you get in America, and you're utilizing it and exploring it. Or you want me to remind you about the civil rights movement? What makes you think you can come all the way from Africa to the US and get a job and get paid decently? Isn't that because of the civil rights movement?
Family, y'all notice he got the rock music in the background that's emulating. It's supposed to be real patriotic. If you're listening to that background music, it's supposed to be, hey, I'm defending Americans now, so I got to have on this American music. It sounds like listen to it. I'm gonna run it back just a little bit.
To do better in Africa. If you are doing better, why are you such in a hurry to run away from Africa, looking for visa in all the African embassy to run away and come to the US? And you come to the US, you want to act like you're doing better because you are able to utilize opportunity you find here in America? It don't make no sense. We should stop it. If you even think that you're doing better in America, who actually made that possible? Black people were the one that actually fought for all the opportunity you get in America, and you're utilizing it and exploring it. Or you want me to remind you about the civil rights movement? What makes you think you can come all the way from Africa to the US and get a job and get paid decently? Isn't that because of the civil rights movement that Black Americans actually fought here in America, giving you and I our liberation, our freedom, our sovereignty to enjoy all the social amenities in America? And for you to just come up and say you're doing better than them? Sometimes we African immigrants, we should. Many of us say we have bachelors in Africa before we came to the US, but sometimes we reason like a third grader. I've always said this, African immigrants, when you are about to come to the US, at the show where you board your flight, drop your fucked up mentality.
Family, he said you better drop that effed up mentality. Isn't that the same thing we've been telling them? He took everything we've been saying and regurgitated it back to his tether class. And I respect it. Yeah, if you really want to rock here, then you better come here with the utmost respect. If you want to make some money here, you better come here with the utmost respect. If you want to be allies and all this other stuff, even though we don't believe in allies because all allies lie, y'all be on code with what we got going on, not the other way around. Because what ends up happening is if you don't, you find out the hard way. And everybody gets that ABK. But with that being said, family, if you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you hit that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click that link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, I got to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Thank you to everybody who donated, whether by Cash App, Super Chat, PayPal, whatever. Much love to each and every one of you, and I appreciate all of your contributions. Family, I'd like to thank my members and my mods and everybody who's not in the chat. Just know, before we get up out of here, I'm going to play this one more time because it is very important for people to not have any type of reservations about situations like this when it actually benefits us. So, salute to this brother one more time. We're going to do this one more again before we get up out of here.
Y'all, I'm a truck driver, right? Let me tell you the effects of Donald Trump. This company called me begging me to work for them because they couldn't find drivers anymore. Why couldn't they find drivers? Because Donald Trump instituted that you must speak English in order to hold a CDL. That means people who are natural born Americans, people who have been here for centuries, who built the country, now we get opportunities that all these foreigners would get. Say what you want to about Trump. I'm not saying he's not racist, but what he's doing positively affects me. Now the jobs that were going to illegal immigrants, that they were working for pennies on the dollar, now it goes to a natural born, full-blooded American. Y'all, I'm a truck driver, right?
That's it. That's all. And make sure that's how you should feel all day, every day. That feeling you feel when you see this brother talking about getting those jobs, that's how you should feel. And we should see more of these videos and feel the same way over and over again. I'm here for the people, and I want to see foundational Black Americans thrive. And I refuse to allow anyone to make us feel bad for wanting our own to thrive. In the very same way that the South Koreans came over here and say, we're going to bring our own to build this business. They didn't have any reservations about that. So we shouldn't have any reservations about our own being able to go and get these jobs. Get that money, baby. And before we get up out of here, you know what? I'm going to show you how much I don't have any reservations about it. We're going to play this one more time. So family, whether you're an illegal on your way back to your home country, or whether you're Charlie Kirk on his way to fire and brimstone, ABK energy is heading your way. You better watch out. You better not cry. Don't talk no mess, I'ma tell you why. ABK is coming to town. ABK is coming to town. And with that being said, family and friends, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever, can't stand us black people. He's doing everything in the world to make black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Us black people going to survive. Yeah. So fuck everybody. I'm off.